Skeletor to King Randor. Skeletor to King Randor. Come in, you royal boob.
I am Adam, Prince of Eternia, defender of the secrets of Castle Grayskull. This is Cringer, my fearless friend. Fabulous secret powers were revealed to me the day I held aloft my magic sword and said, by the power of Grayskull, by the power of Grayskull, by the power of Grayskull, by the power of Grayskull.
I have you now, you muscle-bound oaf.
Just let your soul go.
That means that we punched our ticket to go try to win a Super Bowl, and that's it. We got one game at a time, starting at 1 o'clock on Sunday. Love y'all, boys. Love you. Love you. I'll go to war with every single one of you, every game, all right? Love you, 1-7. Here we go! 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3! Win!
Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have it douse, not what I'm about, have your fucking cloud. It be raining now, I keep making sound, go another round, bitch I'm legend bound, can't stop me now. You don't wanna fuck with me, a slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can.
It's showtime.
Welcome to the Mafia Sports Report. I am Tommy, to the highest degree to the TOP from the 313. And today is episode number 14 of the Down and Drought series. And spoiler alert, we don't make the playoffs again. I know you're in shock. You're in shock that the Buffalo Bills do not make the playoffs in 2013. But this is the Down and Drought series, and we are going to go over the 2013 Buffalo Bills. Let's get with the chat real quick. Ronnie in the building says, awesome. Go Bills. What's going on, Ronnie? Bob in the house. What up, Tommy? How you doing this fine Sunday afternoon? I'm good. Put my new Buffalo Bills decal on the back of my car window today and replaced the old one because the old one was on there for years, and it's red. And because of the sun, it faded out to like pink. Right? So I couldn't have a pink Bills Mafia decal on the back of my window anymore. So upgraded to actually a bigger Bills Mafia decal. And this one should last a little while too before it goes pink. And then I'll replace it again. But yeah, happy about that. Sandra, happy Sunday, Tommy, to the TOP. That's right. And everybody in the chat, how you doing, Sandra? So, yeah, today we are talking Down and Drought series. As you guys know, we do this every Sunday at 1 o'clock. This isn't for everyone. I get it. But I feel like this is a good, good thing for people that haven't lived through the drought years and want to catch up on some Bills history. And it's not the greatest Bills history, but it's something that I feel like every Bills fan should, or at least current Bills fan that didn't live through the drought should know about the drought and what we went through and why you should be happy about where the team is today. That's one. And to the people that lived it, like me, I do find it interesting to go back because there's some things that I either didn't know about or I forgot about. There's also some interviews that player interviews, coaches interview, even some of the owner that I didn't get to see. So for me, I find it fascinating, and it doesn't bring back bad memories. Like it doesn't hurt me. You know, the past is the past. We're in the now. But look, it's the off season. We ain't got shit to do. It's a Sunday at 1 o'clock. We'd be watching Buffalo Bills football anyways, right? So that's why I made it for Sunday at 1. So what are we on right now? We're on the 2013. So we got 2013. We got 2014. We got 3 more episodes to go till this drought is over with. So 3 more episodes to go after this one. So 4 in total if you include this one. So so let's get this thing going. Is it okay to say what's up without getting attacked? Says D. Yeah. So by the way, D's a Giants fan. As you guys know, I have a Discord. I just opened up a Discord, and it's for the subscribers of the show and anyone subscribing. I got a lot of mostly Bills fans, obviously, subscribe to the Mafia Sports Report. But believe it or not, I do have other fan bases that, stumbled upon my channel, that enjoy my content. It is what it is. I don't, the only other team the only other team that I go on their channel, different team's channel, would be one, my buddy Ace Per Head, Curtis. He's a Dolphins fan, and that's my buddy. So of course I'm subscribed to him, and I'll watch his stuff from time to time. And then TD Fins over at TD, I think it's called TD Fins, right? And he's just an entertaining guy. So I don't watch a lot of those guys' stuff, but I'll tune in here and there. The TD Fins guy during the season, if my Bills are done playing, I just like to see his reactions. Are so funny. But, I don't generally go on other people's podcasts, but I don't hate people that go, I get it. You know what I mean? And for me, it's all about entertainment too on these, on YouTube. So I respect people, or I appreciate people that are different fan bases that are coming in here and are entertained and can, pretty much listen to my podcast for almost 2 hours, and them not even be a Bills fan is pretty cool, right? So they're always welcome to stay on here and listen to me and subscribe and whatever, like talk to me. I don't care about that stuff. You know what I mean? It doesn't bother me that they're a Chiefs fan or a Ravens fan or a Giants fan. Once again, I got a couple Chiefs fans in here. Weston is one of them. Triple G's another. I got some Ravens fans in here as well. D's new to the channel. He's a Giants fan. But yeah, man. So, look, we're going to have our, people are going to have their back and forth and about, the Chiefs being better, the Bills or Giants, Ravens, whatever, as long as it doesn't get nasty. You know what I mean? Like I have fun with all that, you know what I mean? But when it gets over the top, it's like, guys, it's sports, man. Like, don't go overboard with throwing insults or just, don't take things so personal. Fight. Like and I'm talking about Discord, not so much in here. I haven't really had it in the chats on my live streams, but I opened up a Discord 2 weeks ago, and I invited pretty much anybody who watches my channel. So I got a couple, like I said, Bills fans. I got a Chiefs fan, and D is a Giants fan in there, and it got a little edgy today. Got a little over the top with one of my Bills subscribers. I don't even know. I think he left the Discord. I think he actually unsubscribed to my channel. I don't know, but I apologize. I don't even know if I should apologize, but it wasn't meant to be like a place to go and fight, and it wasn't really a place for just, it has to be only Bills fans. I mean, I was almost thinking about maybe I should just make it Bills only, but I don't know. Like, to me, like, guys, come on, man, we should be more, have a good time on there. I don't know. I don't get it. But either way, look, and it's still open. Discord's still open. I'm trying to grow the page, but I also don't want people coming in there going, "Oh, look at this fucking guys. They're all fighting in there." Like, I don't want to be a part of this. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, this is another Twitter. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that's not really where I'm trying to go with it. So, Okay, cool. Very good. Thank you so much. I'm going to actually link the, D's in the chat. Yeah, I'm going to actually link the, give me 1 second. Let me link the Discord link in this chat, in the YouTube chat. Give me 1 second, guys. This way I don't forget, because I will forget at the end of the show or towards the middle. Let's see here. Here it is. Okay, let me copy paste this. All right. Give me one. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, and then let me pin the message. Okay, now it's pinned. All right, there we go. So those that haven't joined and are, want to join, the link is in the chat. It's also pinned in the chat. All you have to do is click the link and you'll be able to, you'll be in the Discord group chat. So it's free to join. I'm not asking for anything. And it's just a fun place to talk. And once again, if you guys want to, you can join and then actually turn off your notifications if you don't, or turn it off if you don't want to talk, certain days. It's up to you. You know what I mean? But anyways, it's there. Breathe. All right, let's get to it, man. So let's get to this 2013 season. Let me go ahead and pop this up. If I can, let's see here. Is it this one? I was getting, it's that one. Okay. All right, here we go. So, there it is right there, guys. All you have to do is click the link, and it'll take you to the Discord. Oh, brother, this guy stinks. I know.
Get the fuck out of here.
All right, that's for you, Weston. All right, so let's get this thing going.
Episode 14, 2013. In telling this tale, I attempt no compliment to my own sagacity.
St. Doug.
I claim not to have controlled
Doug
events,
Marrone.
but confess plainly that events have controlled me.
Boy, oh boy, have we been through it, huh?
Inside the Buffalo.
Wait. Can't use that title. How about this? All right.
Hello, everyone.
And once again, shout out to Prescott Rossi, who actually did this series years ago. And, you can go to his YouTube channel and go ahead and show him some love. But for some reason, I haven't seen him post anything for like 5 years. So I'm not sure if he's done with the channel. I don't know anything about Prescott Rossi or if he even covers the Bills anymore. I have no idea. But I have to give a special shout out to him for doing this down in Drought, and then for us being able to watch, the round table and also for them providing the clips of all the interviews and all that stuff. So shout out to Prescott Rossi for initially doing the Down and Drought series. You got to be mature in order for everyone to get along. Don't talk trash if you can't handle it in return. Yeah, I got you. EJ wasn't the worst, but he was close to it. Yeah, he was, he was okay. The thing was, I don't know if he had, I'm not sure if he was developed correctly in the NFL, because he had the tools. He's shown flashes at times where you were like, okay, well, wait a minute, maybe this guy can turn into something, but it just never fully developed into that quarterback that we wanted. And before you know it, he was out of the league. But it could have been, maybe, like I said, once again, player development. It could have been a little bit about him, maybe a combination of them both. But yeah, it just didn't work out. Like many of the quarterbacks, by the way, that we had in Buffalo during the drought. He's not the only one.
Since you know what we're doing. I'm Prescott Rossi. He's Thad Brown. We brought John Kutchko back in once again to discuss the 2013 Buffalo Bills.
Turn this up.
On the first day of 2013, January 1st.
Can you guys hear me? Can you hear? Can you hear them? Let me know in the chat.
Him full autonomy to run the organization. Considering his humble beginnings as an intern, John, you knew him back in the day, to see him rise all the way up to team president after being GM and now CEO, what were your thoughts on this move that Ralph is really handing over the keys to Russ?
Well, I think this was a clear sign.
Yeah,
I think
Ralph
Thad would
is
agree
at this
that
point,
Ralph
guys, is what, 90-something
doesn't have
years
any
old.
day-to-day decision making with the Buffalo
He hasn't
Bills.
been to a game in
Russ
2
was
years.
A marketing guy, came from marketing.
He knows what's going on,
Put
right?
him in this role to oversee the whole shooting match. A lot of people.
He's at the
had
tail
that
end of his
skepticism, and
life,
some of us in
pretty
the media
much.
did certainly as well. Russ is a great guy, but he's all about marketing.
Got to hand the keys over to somebody.
That's not his forte. But clearly, it was a sign that Ralph was completely severing himself from day-to-day decision-making with the franchise.
This brand has been tarnished.
Oh,
its relevancy has been tarnished, and it's unacceptable. Yesterday, when he provided me the opportunity and told me that he was passing the torch to me to run the operation with no restrictions or limitations, it was a very daunting, emotional day. And it's like I said, it now stops and starts those final decisions with me.
No one was really excited about this. It was warm and fuzzy from Ralph is near the end.
Guys,
kind of his finger quote son. But
you see why we were in the drought here? Just things were just not going good.
He says that Russ Brandon won't pick free agents who won't be involved with draft picks. And that
owners is on his way out.
To Russ
as far as living on.
Do I have final authority and say? Yes. But that's what Buddy Nix, the general manager.
Hey, y'all, I'm Buddy Nix.
He identifies personnel. He runs that side of our operation.
These guys had
At
no
some
clue.
point, there's going
Hey,
to be.
guy.
I mean, you got to have a transition into something. I mean, a man's only got so much of this in him. 7 days a week, about 15 hours a day. The plan's the same. I mean, we want somebody that the transition's going to be smooth. He can make the next step, and he can.
I try to give Buddy the most accurate information and to what he
Doug
needs to
Whaley.
make his decision, be it personnel-wise or scout-wise or salary cap-wise or anything.
There's been a lot of speculation about what's going to happen to Buddy Nix. Jen Gailey's already been fired by this
Buffalo
point.
was such a mess, guys, at this time.
The Southern Vulture
During this
Nix and Gailey, will they, completely rid themselves of Nix as well?
Just changing,
head coaching opening
president of operation
Sunday,
every other year, it
Doug
seems
Marrone,
like
the
general
16th
manager.
head coach of the Buffalo Bills.
Coaches.
Lovie Smith, Chip Kelly, Ken Wisenhunt, and Ray Horton. We all know Doug Marrone was there at Syracuse, helped turn around a really moribund program, though he didn't have a winning record at Syracuse. But your thoughts on the regionalization goes to the east as opposed to up to Canada, it goes to Syracuse.
There was someone who reached out to me on Twitter in the end of December.
Can you guys hear me? By the way, can you hear the
I completely shot the idea.
Can you hear them? Let me know in the chat.
Nearly enough at Syracuse. Like you said, they had gone to 2 bowls and didn't even have a winning record. I mean, that's better.
25-25.
But is that the kind of thing? Wow, I want him running my NFL team. That was my impression with Marrone, and yet there he is getting the job. And we can talk about Russ Brandon will not pick free agents. He will not make trades, draft picks, but he will apparently pick the coach. That's what we all thought about this deal.
And indeed, that was Russ's pick. And also the Browns were sniffing around Marrone as well. And I think I had the same reaction as Thad, but it can't be emphasized enough what Marrone did at Syracuse. And while the record may have not underscored what
I
he
wasn't
did,
thrilled
indeed,
about the
he
hire.
inherited
I'm not gonna
an
lie.
absolute mess there. Brought them back to somewhat respectability, but was he NFL worthy to be a head coach? There were a lot of question marks.
Never before in team history had the Buffalo Bills reached into the college ranks to find a head coach, but that changed here today in Orchard Park when the Bills introduced Doug Marrone as their 16th head coach.
Oh my,
in
Doug
franchise
Marrone.
history.
Today I'm experiencing another dream come true. I moved on from Syracuse, to be with this outstanding organization. I had some opportunities to make a choice, and I've chosen to be here. I can't tell you how excited I am to be the head football coach.
This much we can say.
Fucking guy just quit on the team.
I think it was a shot of youth, a shot of energy.
Coach just one more
And I
year
know
said,
I
I'm
was a
out of
little bit
here.
excited about it because given the
I'm
previous
done.
coaches with the Bills,
Oh,
just didn't see
man.
that. I thought he would be pretty good.
Sounds good, by the way. Sorry, I heard you, but was out. Oh, no
But I
problem,
thought
Bob.
he
Thank you.
brought a little bit of energy and some enthusiasm I hadn't seen before, and I thought that was a good thing. But like that, I was skeptical from the hire. I'm like, really? I mean, and one of our coworkers brought Marrone's name up a couple weeks before it happened, and I thought it was the most ridiculous idea in the world. And then it happened. So
we're in the drought of not winning a Super Bowl, you mean? But we're not in the drought of playoff drought. There's a big difference. You know what I mean? But I get what you're saying. Technically,
that I look for.
Yeah.
I love the people
Super Bowl
here.
wise.
We're going to be proud of this organization.
Playoff wise,
When
no,
you're the
we're
head
not in a
football
drought.
Coach, you want to make sure that you're truly the CEO of the program. That you know what's going on offense, you know what's going on defense, you know what's going on in special teams. So from a management type of style, that's who I am.
Well, I think Doug distanced himself throughout the process. To have the opportunity to spend time with the other candidates was
What up, Cali Bills? How you doing, buddy?
But Doug Marrone, as I keep mentioning, he's the right man to lead this franchise.
Right from the beginning, this is where I wanted to be.
You had a good story. You went to, what was it like?
So let's get this clear to some people that just tuned in. This is the Down and Drought series for the playoffs, right? For missing the playoffs 17 years, right? This isn't the Down and Drought Super Bowl series, which yeah, then this would be a very long podcast for many, many, many years. I would be doing the Down and Drought if we start back. I mean, we have never won a Super Bowl, so I have to go back to the 60s, and I'm definitely not going to do that. So this is a one-time deal, and it's the Down and Drought 17-year playoff, missing the playoffs for 17 straight years, okay? So let's get that clear. But I get what you're saying. Technically, we are in a drought for the Super Bowl. I get that. I'm understanding that. Yeah, man, 4 Super Bowls. How you doing, Cali, man? How's life over there in Cali, man? We suck so long at this point in my life, nothing matters but Super Bowl. Yeah, I get it. Listen, I understand, but this series here, I decided to do this offseason. I don't know if you just started watching, but it's the offseason, man, and not much to do. So I decided to do this 17-part series. Which I think we have, we have 3 episodes left after this one. And by the time we're done, training camp will start. So it was just kind of a filler. And I thought it would be fun to kind of go back and, relive the playoff drought years. And for the fans that didn't really experience the playoff drought, to kind of understand what we went through as Bills fans through this time. So, but I get what you're saying. I'm with you on that, by the way. We need to fix that Super Bowl drought thing, right? We could do a Super Bowl show after the season when we win it all. Absolutely, Bob. Absolutely. I'm confident in this team, man. But I get what you're saying. All right, let's go ahead and get this thing going again.
A business breakfast with Marrone and kind of got to see him a little bit. Yeah. Tell us that story again, because I was as skeptical as you were about Marrone, and yet this kind of made me feel a little bit of optimism at that time.
Well, I came away from it quite impressed. He can talk in a setting with business leaders. We were in Rochester. It was a gathering of about 200 business leaders from Buffalo and Rochester, and he sold a good talk. He got you energized. He's a smart guy. He married an attorney.
Doug's selling you.
Passionate guy.
Good talker.
He's a lot different than he is at the podium talking to the media. And he energized the people there. I remember coming back up to the office to you that day, and I was wowed by it. And I was excited for training camp. Boy, was I wrong.
Well, and Marrone does have that NFL experience. He played in the NFL. He was the offensive coordinator with the Saints under Sean Payton. So he goes back to his alma mater and turns around a program. So I can understand that, like, the local boy makes good kind of aspect to this story. But Brennan even says that
I didn't like him at all either.
We wanted toughness. We wanted intellect. We wanted a culture change.
No, I was not a fan.
Leadership, competitive leadership. Doug was a perfect candidate. And I think at that time, considering Chan Gailey and Dick Duran and, even Malarkey and going back, like, so many of those coaches, whether they were retreads or not, really didn't have anything inspirational. And this was a chance or a shot at That's something that was different compared to what
at this point, though, guys, with all the different coaches that we already been through, and
cutting edge. And the guy couldn't stop punting.
I didn't trust anyone they hired. Even when Sean McDermott was hired, I was like, here's another guy, no name coach.
I remember snapping a photograph.
Like, here we go again. 2 or 3 more losing seasons.
And he had this Cheshire
then we'll be back to looking for another coach.
Little did I know that he had that out.
So, yeah, man. Wild times, man.
Your grin on, and we'll get into that later. But, after that press conference, we felt, well,
but yeah, I didn't buy into any of these coaches that came out with their interviews or the press conferences and said what they're going to do.
We knew the guy we wanted.
Yeah,
interviewed him.
Hey, buddy.
And there he is. So why go any further? If you do that, you lose the guy you want.
Yeah, that's true. They started to a little bit. Yeah, that's true.
We would have been starting over.
Being a head coach for 4 years at Syracuse has helped me. And for me, my one dream, which obviously became a reality.
He still had a losing record in Syracuse, so I still, it wasn't that impressive.
And to create a foundation for it to be successful for a long period of time was important. Now I go into the next level, which is the highest level of my profession, and want to have a great appreciation for. So I'm truly excited about it.
Going after that, he fills out his coaching staff. Nathaniel Hackett and Mike Pettin are named the coordinators. Hackett, 33 years old, Pettin with much more pedigree in the NFL. And I think the pedigree hire, I remember at the time being like, oh, this is a guy that was, involved with Rex Ryan's Jets, was a big name for a defensive coordinator. I thought that was a really good hire, and it turns out that the defense turns around under Pettin.
Yeah, the only question with that was he was a 3-4 guy, and the Bills D was really built for 4-3, but obviously they figured it out. The other Marrone, do as I not do and not as I say. He said he wanted to get coordinators with experience, and he goes out and finds Nate Hackett, who had never been in the NFL before. So, right from the get-go, it's double speak with that coaching staff.
So the Bills have to rearrange their roster now with a new head coach, and their free agency, the pre-free agency period is pretty turbulent for this team. Donald Jones not retained. George Wilson, Nick Barnett, Terrence McGee released. David Nelson not tendered. Chris Kelsay retires after 10 seasons. Some would argue he was there a bit too long to be on the Buffalo Bills. Sean Merriman retires. They've put a franchise tag on Jarris Bird, and Leotis McKelvin signs a new contract. So I just remember that turbulent offseason thinking like, well, the 2013 Bills are going to look a lot different than the 2012 Bills because we probably know they're going to draft a quarterback, whether or not he starts and Fitz is the backup. That remains to be seen. But I remember thinking
we released Fitz, right?
I don't know if it'll be better, but it'll be different.
I don't think Fitz was here on this roster.
Donald Jones had a kidney issue we found out later that was totally unrelated to football. David Nelson would really be out of football in a year and a half. So they didn't throw away a lot of, usable part. Kelsey, like you said, probably had been there way too long to begin with. So this wasn't a team that was, wow, how are they going to get along without these guys?
Yeah, George Wilson was probably the biggest loss as far as morale in the locker room because he just connected with everybody. He was a guy that everyone looked up to, but on the tail end of his career. So I agree with that. This wasn't a big shakeup where, how are we going to move on after this? That was not the case.
And I think George Wilson's story is pretty incredible. Going from a wide receiver, just kind of wherever, coach, and I'll see what I
told you guys. I met George Wilson before he even officially became a Buffalo Bill.
To your point, the center.
He was here. He used to play for Detroit, and I went to my cousin's bachelor party. And George Wilson was there. And my cousin's like, "Hey, this guy's he's going to try out for the Buffalo Bills."
Between Buddy Nix
and I had a conversation. We talked for a while, and a really nice guy.
It's unbelievable.
But when he got there and they converted him to safety, I'm like, "Oh shit, I know this guy. I met this guy. Nice guy."
Of Ryan Fitzpatrick's contract. 5 hours later, at 4:15, the Bills released Ryan Fitzpatrick.
So we do. Yeah, see, we did release Ryan.
But you
damn
Fitz. But see the morning news become the afternoon's news, and that was
Doug Marrone.
To see Fitzmagic
Fitz is not going to do it for me.
The thing I always pulled out of that is, of course, it's the Bucs and the Bills. I mean, this would have never happened with the Steelers and the Giants or the Seahawks and the Patriots. Never. It was just these two teams, and it was. I don't think it was really Buddy Nix's fault. He was the victim of a prank. Maybe you want to talk about better security for phone calls, whatever. At the end of the day, it was just wrong place, wrong time. But of course, it was the Bills.
Yeah, loose lips sink ships. Yep. And the Bills had a problem in this era of people yapping and getting things out, and this was an example of it. Maybe it wasn't, but there were things after this that would leak out mysteriously, and that was kind of the start of it, I thought.
Yeah, and Fitzpatrick gone after a 20-33 record over 4 years. 4-22.
We did give him time.
Comeback situations. The height of Fitzmagic when they were 5-2 in 2011 was something. But yeah, it ended with a real thud. So now we know the Bills are obviously in the market for a quarterback. They signed Kevin Cobb on April 8th.
Kevin Cobb.
End well for Kevin. But I just remember thinking like,
God,
I don't think that fixes your problem at all.
No, he was the backup. I thought it made sense from they were going to draft the guy. Kevin Cobb was the veteran insurance, and I was fine with that.
Oh my God!
I didn't want Kevin. I think the thing I told everyone was, he's fine. Just hope he doesn't play 16 games for you because that's not how you want to have.
And he's not going to play.
And as it turned out, the guy they picked, they might have been better off with Kevin Cobb playing 16 games.
No question.
The NFL draft begins on Thursday, April 25th.
Here we go.
The Bills have the 8th pick. They trade it to St. Louis along with the 71st pick for picks 16, 46, 78, and 222. And with the 16th overall pick in the first round of the 2013 NFL draft, the Bills select quarterback EJ Manuel
from Florida State.
And I went back and looked through Twitter, through my timeline, friends' timelines, completely panned this pick 100%.
There were no good quarterbacks in that draft.
It was a terrible quarterback.
It was a
draft.
bad. I remember that
NFL
bad
draft
quarterback
is bad
draft.
throughout.
Oh, yes,
there are not
yes.
good players in this draft.
Right.
But EJ in the first round, it looks bad.
I was in New York City with the draft, and I remember talking maybe Ryan Nassib because of the Syracuse connection. And these are, a quarterback that went in the fourth round.
How did we get so bad to begin with?
The Bills had painted themselves into a corner for months and months, saying that we.
How long have you been watching the Buffalo Bills, man? Just curious, because I've been watching since '89. So to sum it up, how did we get so bad to begin with? We had our run. Obviously in the late 80s and early 90s to mid 90s, made it to 4 straight Super Bowls. And then the team got old, right? Jim Kelly got old, Bruce got old, Thurman got old, players moved on or retired. And eventually Marv Levy got old and retired. And then Wade Phillips took over. And Wade Phillips was a good coach. I like Wade Phillips. I think Wade Phillips is underrated. I think he was a really good coach here. And the problem was, and where it really all started was, for me, I think, was Ralph Wilson. Ralph Wilson was getting up there in age. His decision making was not the greatest at the time. He was making poor decisions on, GMs. We got rid of our old GM who got us to the Super Bowl. He pretty much fired him because he wasn't guaranteed. He wasn't saying that he would, guarantee his time in Buffalo or he, for his contract that he would resign. So he just fired him. And then the whole Rob Johnson, Doug Flutie debacle, which was just bad, and forcing Wade Phillips' hand to start Rob over Doug, and then he fired Wade Phillips over Wade not firing his special teams coach, and then it kind of just the snowball effect happened, right? And before you know it, we brought in Greg Williams, right? That was our first coach after Wade, and it just went downhill from there. And then different GMs, and then Marv Levy came back as a GM for, I think, 2 years. And it was just poor decision-making after poor decision-making. And then, the other big thing is they could never find their franchise quarterback after Jim Kelly. Like once Jim Kelly retired, I believe after the 96 season, if I'm not mistaken, they just never could replace him. They tried in the draft, they tried in free agency, and they could never get it right. So they couldn't get their GM right. They couldn't get their coaching right. They couldn't get a quarterback. So that's why that's pretty much how it all started. But honestly, I think if it was me, just looking back now, I think it had a lot to do with Ralph Wilson, and I love Ralph Wilson. Right? If it wasn't for Ralph Wilson, we don't have a Buffalo Bills team to cheer for. So, but I just think he was just getting up there in age, and it was just poor decision making, and he didn't really have a good guy in place after the GM left, the one that was getting those teams to Super Bowls, and it just got kind of out of control, man. So that's kind of where, for me, that's where it started. I think that was Mr. Wilson's karma for starting Rob Johnson. Yeah, I think it started there. You know what I mean? And you got to remember, though, they gave up a lot to get Rob Johnson. They gave up a first round and a fourth round pick, and they made him the highest paid quarterback, I believe, in the league at that point. So, like, I felt like they wanted to get their investment back, which is not the right way to do it. Sometimes you got to just, it is what it is. You made a mistake, but you let the best man play, which would have been Doug Flutie, and they forced Wade Phillips' hand, and yeah, the rest is history. They thought Van Pelt and Todd Collins. Yeah, I know. It's like, yeah, terrible. Van Pelt. Yeah, what the fuck, man? Todd Collins. But yeah, I think this, like I said, the snowball effect started with the owner. I think Ralph was just getting way too old and just wasn't really understanding what was really going on in Buffalo. And, maybe if he found the right GM at that time where the GM could actually, make the right decision without Ralph being a part of it, you know what I mean? And kind of guide the team in the right direction and find their quarterback. But it just never happened that way. Right. It took a long time for us to finally get a GM and a coach in place. And that's why I would say I'm not hating on Sean McDermott and what he did here. Sean McDermott's a good coach. He's a good regular season coach. But that's where it stops for him. Right. And playoffs were, he wasn't so great. Look at the Knicks. If you look at the Knicks won the fucking championship last year. I believe it was last year, right? The year prior, the Knicks didn't make it to the championship. They fired their coach. Knicks fans were pissed. People were like, what the fuck? How can they fire this coach who turned around the Knicks so quickly, got them to the playoffs, and then you're going to hire this guy, and it doesn't make sense. And now, look, they won a championship. Sometimes owners see a flaw in a coach, right? And sometimes you have to make that decision. And I always believe in that too. And that's why I always thought, Pagula should have made that decision a lot earlier instead of kept, trying for another year under McDermott. It just wasn't going to happen. Some coaches hit a wall, and McDermott hit that playoff wall. He just could not figure it out. So, is it a gamble? Of course. Like, for instance, what if the Knicks are just a playoff team? They don't make the championship, and they're out. Or let's say they get worse. They don't make the play. It's a gamble because at least the old coach is going to get you to the playoffs, right? But the gamble paid off because they won a championship, right? Or what? Do you just continue to just make it to the playoffs and that's good enough? You know what I mean? Like, you have to make that tough decision eventually. And, look, under McDermott, could we have made the playoffs this year again? Yeah, probably, right? He's shown the ability to get this team to the playoffs. Like, I would have, but that's it. That's where it stops. And we needed to change that. And I credit Pagula for finally understanding that we got to move on. We got to get a new voice in the room. We got to go in a new direction. And that's what we did ultimately, man. What if we beat Tennessee, who should have started the next game? I know. Trust me. We had a good-ass team under Wade, that music. Yeah, it was fucking bullshit, man. That whole Rob Johnson, Doug Flutie thing drove me nuts, man. Should have never. Yeah, Polian. Yeah, but Polian. Listen, Polian. The thing with Polian, D, is he was out the door. So the issue was Polian wasn't so okay. So Polian and Ralph Wilson couldn't come to terms on an extension, meaning Ralph wanted Bill Polian to stay, but Bill Polian wasn't willing to commit to Ralph Wilson that season on if he was going to stay or not and sign an extension. So Ralph Wilson took that as, disrespect, I guess, or like a big, he's not coming back, or fuck you, you're going to leave me hanging like that. You know what I mean? Waiting to the end of the season. Now I got to find a GM. So I think, Ralph just took it as a sign of disrespect or whatever, and he fired him. Like, ultimately, that's really what happened. And Ralph Wilson, you know, look, he fired Wade Phillips because Wade Phillips wouldn't fire his special teams coach. I mean, so yeah, Wade Phillips, you know, when he wanted something done or he wanted something from you and you weren't willing to accept it, it seemed like Ralph Wilson was quick to pull the trigger and fire people. So, I mean, at least for those two guys. But in our situation, I think we are a year too late. Ben Johnson should be yeah, but that, look, it is what it is, bro. You know what I mean? Like, we can't play the what if game. And by the way, Ben Johnson did a really good job, but it's been 1 year for Ben Johnson. Let's slow it down a little bit. He didn't go to the Super Bowl. He didn't, you know, I get it. He turned around a team, you know, he turned that team around and good for him, but it's been 1 year. All right. Let's pump the brakes a little bit. Let's see what he can do moving forward. I'm not saying he's a bad coach or anything like that, or he's going to turn into a bad coach, but you got to get more, you got to stack more wins than that for me to start going, hey, he's a really great coach. So we'll see. We'll see when it comes to the Bears. And they're going to also have you know, they also have a tougher schedule as well. Same thing with the Patriots. So we'll see what happens with them as well. If it's not broken, don't fix it. Should have been starting. I get it. I'm with you, man. Butler wasn't bad at all. Yeah. Remember Mr. Wilson passed the owners off at the owners meeting after we lost the Miracle. Remember when Mr. Mitchell pissed the owners off at the owners meeting after we lost the Miracle game? I don't remember that. But that, by the way, that was crap. By the way, that was a forward pass. So I don't care what anyone says. Just like the Denver game, that was a catch, and I don't care what anyone says. There's somebody that put out another clip of that Brandon Cooks catch against Denver, and I still don't understand the ruling, guys. I really don't understand it at all. Like, the NFL says you have to make a football move. So hear me out on this, because it doesn't make sense. When you hit the ground, when you have full possession of the ball, which Brandon Cooks did, it wasn't bobbling or anything like that. He had both hands secured on the ball. The ball was there. When your elbow hits, and even when he went sideways and the player is on top of him, the play is over at that point. There is no football move. When they rolled is when the defender then took the ball away. But the play should be over at that point. And I'll give you examples of this because I've been watching football all my life. When, let's say, a quarterback throws a low ball to a receiver who has to die for it, right? Or he's on the ground, right? He goes down, catches it, but he's already on the ground, and a player goes above him and hits his shoulder. The play is done. It's over. Now, have you seen the plays where if a player doesn't touch that player, so let's say the player's on the ground, he gets it, and he goes to get up. Sometimes players will let you go to stand up, and then they'll punch the ball away. I'll give you an example. Poyer did it against the Colts in the playoffs. If y'all don't remember that, go back and watch. Player caught it on the ground. He went to get up, and Poyer waited and punched the ball out. But Poyer just touched him like on, I think, his shoulder just before milliseconds before his knee was up. I mean, really close. It was considered down. So I still don't get the rule then, because what's the football move? He's on the ground. He's on the ground. Not only did his elbow hit, but his side of his body was down with full control. So I don't. It doesn't make sense, and it happened earlier in the year, a couple times, and they ruled it in favor of the offense. So I very confusing of what that rule is. For me, it was a catch. I just don't understand the NFL at times. That's what makes sometimes watching the NFL tough, because you got to get it right. That's all I care about. At least get it right with all the technology you have, right? With all the technology you have, especially in key games, playoff games, like, down to the wire games, get it right. Get it right. And I just felt like the NFL, the officials wanted to just rush things there instead of actually understanding and looking at the play and really what happened there. And once again, if you watch the sequence, he had full control. That is a catch down by contact. It should have been Buffalo's ball at that point, but it is what it is. Can't turn back the hands of time. The NFL's not going to take responsibility for a fucked up call, but it was a fucked up call. fucked up call, man. Trust me. Yeah, exactly. See you in the next. It was a forward pass. It looked like, it was absolutely a forward pass. That's another one that's bullshit. But can't turn back the hands of time, man. But you know what? I don't even think the game comes down to that if Doug Flutie starts. I really don't. I think it was a terrible mistake to have Rob Johnson start in that game. So it may not even come down to that if Doug Flutie's in the game.
Draft a quarterback, and this is all that was left. I mean, you look back at that draft, the only thing the Bills really did wrong other than having to take a quarterback was just taking him in the first round. They could have waited till rounds 2 or 3 and gotten the same caliber of guy that wouldn't have worked out anyway.
That was the issue with EJ Manuel.
I think one of the things that you see when
it was kind of a reach
is, just his presence. And again, he's had great leadership ability at Florida State where he's been amongst his teammates. And I think that, one of the important things when he comes in here is earning the trust of our players.
We think his faults can be corrected, the things that he does, and all of them had to have work. Every one of them. This guy, to us, he's got leadership qualities. He's very smart, and he's big.
I will say, though, the trade down was a great move because everyone thought the Jets were going to take Tavon Austin at 9. The Bills were at 8. The Rams were able to get
Austin, remember him?
Jets is
real fast
to get the Rams in front.
Didn't quite work out.
Alonso out of the deal, which turned into LaShawn McCoy. So the first round pick may not be bad, but the long term wasn't too bad at all.
True, Kiko did wind up.
He was down there
getting us shady.
You got to be kidding me. Yeah, we're just shocked. Shocked because there were no quarterbacks in this draft. This is not the way to get your franchise quarterback. And I think a lot of fans that night were deflated.
Yeah, and you talk about painting yourself into a corner, and a lot of the talk in 2013 is, of course, about how they have TJ Graham and not.
So why get rid of Ryan Fitzpatrick then?
Dante Whitner.
If it's a weak quarterback draft. Why not roll with Fitzpatrick one more year?
In a situation where we have to start
and then draft a quarterback the next season.
Quarterbacks in it, and
you know what I mean? Like that's the thing with GM sometimes. Like
Joe Biscaglia, who at the time was
there was no need there, or sign Kevin Cobb and go. Fans may not like it, but have another shitty season and then draft a quarterback.
Are they really going to go for Manuel
the following year?
Everyone I talk to says they love him. I'm like, but did you watch?
But that's what bad teams do, guys.
The tape shows this is not a good quarterback. I don't know what they're doing, but if that's the guy they want, if they get him, you can't say it was like the wrong pick for them to make. But it was obviously
as bad as Manuel was.
Yeah,
I really came out of that first round feeling okay because I wasn't shocked they picked the quarterback. And even though they had taken one that would not have been my first pick anyway, they didn't
need to.
They got extra picks out of the
deal. They really didn't need to.
Everybody knew what they were going to do, and they still, came out about as good as they could have come out of that first round.
Mel Kiper called EJ Manuel the 6th best quarterback he had in that 2013 draft.
And
good Lord.
The Bills surprised a lot of people by taking EJ Manuel, the 16th overall pick, but he wasn't surprised. Manuel said today that he had a, quote, really good feeling about the Bills after meeting with Doug Marrone and the rest of the Bills brass. Manuel says he's the best fit in this draft for what
the Bills
want to do on offense, and he's ready to step in.
I think it's a matter of just getting into the offense, getting into the film room. I know the game, the speed is different. I think it's going to be a lot of adjusting to do, but I played big time football at Florida State, and I played against NFL caliber guys week in and week out. So I don't think it'll be too much of an adjustment. There only needs to be one team that needs to fall in love with you, and whether it was the Buffalo Bills, the Philadelphia Eagles, Cleveland Browns. I knew one of those teams were going to take quarterbacks. I didn't know how soon. But I'm just extremely.
Russell Wilson was one of them. D.
I saw the Bills trade back, from 8 to 16. I knew
we could have had him.
I was extremely excited.
Now it turns out the Bills were the first team to call EJ Manuel last night. He says he got a call around the 3rd or 4th pick in the draft, and he was thinking,
a lot of people passed up on Tom Brady though.
Turns out it was the wrong number. Somebody was trying to get in touch with Oregon linebacker Deion Jordan. Fortunately for Manuel, he didn't have to wait too long to find out he had an
Aaron Rodgers,
in Orchard
I'm sure.
Park with the Bills. I'm Prescott Rossi.
So yeah, second round, Robert
So
Woods
yeah,
goes
there's
pick
some
41,
quarterbacks we
Kiko
passed up
Alonso
on.
pick 46. And then Marquise Goodwin goes in the third round, pick 78. And why do the Bills keep drafting speedy guys?
Small speedy guys.
That can't catch.
I mean, if you want to get real technical, we passed up on Patrick Mahomes. Just saying, we did, right, in 2017. So luckily in 2018 we made up for it and got Josh Allen, right? But yeah, we have passed up on some pretty good quarterbacks here in Buffalo. So.
The football from Roscoe Parrish to TJ Graham and now Marquise Goodwin. Now they're on the same team, Goodwin and Graham.
Yeah,
the
nobody
trade
saw that
makes
happen.
sense, and obviously the Kiko Alonso pick.
I don't
goes
even
off
think the
in
Patriots
spades. But then you
saw,
throw away a third-round pick on a guy
really
you
saw
know-
what
you
Brady
know
was
what's
going to
going
be.
to happen
There's
with
no
this
way.
pick.
Coincidentally, the guy who worked here before you did, Corey Hepple, moved from Rochester down to Austin. So one of his jobs was to cover Texas football. So the Bills take Marquise Goodwin. I text him, Corey, what do you think of Goodwin? He goes,
Goodwin,
all he can do is
really
run in a straight
fast.
line. He can't catch. He can't run a pattern. He can't do anything else. All he can do is run in a straight line. I never heard a more damning recommendation or analysis of a draft pick, and he was right on. He was right
Track
on.
star, went to the Olympics, or tried out for the
track
Olympics,
star
I believe.
for the United States. So yeah, so that rounds out Duke Williams, Jonathan Meeks, Dustin Hopkins, Chris Crack round out the 2013 draft.
Duke
class.
Williams, not
And,
the receiver, by the way, the corner.
A couple days
Duke
after
Williams.
that, Monday, April 29th, the Bills trade Kelvin Shepard to the Indianapolis Colts for Jerry
Yep.
Hughes. And throughout this offseason, before the next big move with the Bills, the talk is who's actually running the show here, because these moves don't really seem like Buddy Nick's moves. They seem like there's a change in the Bills front office structure. Your thoughts on shipping Kelvin Shepard, a guy who we didn't really see a lot of
Correct.
early in his career,
Correct.
for Jerry
We got
Hughes, who
Trey
was
White.
a
We
former
traded
first-round
down.
pick that
You
really
like,
wasn't
and Kansas City wound up
Total
taking
trash
that pick
talk. That's
for
all it was.
Mahomes.
It was a change of scenery thing. No one expected anything from Hughes or anything more than Shepard would have given. There was talk about how Shepard was kind of penciling as one of the linebackers originally before Mike Pettin came in. Then it was Pettin's system that wouldn't fit.
Like for me,
But
guys,
there were no expectations for Jerry Hughes.
think about how crazy this is. If we don't draft Josh Allen and we made a mistake and draft Josh Rosen, more than likely McDermott would have been fired a long time ago. Probably Brandon Beane would have been fired. And we probably would still be searching for a quarterback. Or let's say we draft Josh Allen, he doesn't turn into what he has, right? Which is an elite quarterback. We would have all been looking back at 2017 and hating Sean McDermott for what he did by passing up on Patrick Mahomes. Like, it's not talked about now because we, thank God, got an elite quarterback, a franchise quarterback that's up there with Mahomes as far as tier 1 level quarterback. But can you imagine if Allen doesn't work out or if we don't draft Josh Allen? I'm telling you right now, everybody would be talking about that. That would be talked about today in Buffalo. And it's not, because thank God we drafted Josh Allen. But think about how crazy that could have turned out, right? Like, we all would have been so fucking pissed at Sean McDermott for blowing that. And that, by the way, that wouldn't have been on Brandon Beane because Beane wasn't hired until after that draft. So, yeah, I'll tell you what, Sean McDermott owes a lot to Josh Allen, because I really truly feel if Allen's doesn't turn out to be what he was, or we don't draft Allen, McDermott is not this head coach for 9 years. He's not the head coach for 9 years, not at all. He probably would have been fired after a couple seasons. So he owes a lot to Josh Allen. He owes a lot to Brandon Beane for being able to maneuver his way up in the draft and having faith in that draft pick and getting Josh Allen. So think about how crazy that is for a second. I mean, that's fucking wild when you think about it, how things could have turned out if we don't get Josh Allen, or Josh Allen doesn't become what he is today. I mean, that's wild to me. Pats built a whole dynasty during our playoff last years in the 90s, and the Pats were so irrelevant. It sickens me to see them beat the dog snot out of us. But dude, they beat this. Let's be real here. When we're talking about the Patriots, they beat the dog snot out of everybody. Like, they had one of the best runs in sports history. Like, they were a dynamic team. It wasn't just about the Bills not being able to beat the Patriots like that. Like, the Patriots ran the NFL for quite some time. They were a dynasty. I mean, they're just plain and simple. So it wasn't just about the Buffalo Bills. It was about them beating almost everybody. Right. So they had one hell of a run. I got to give them credit. I won't lie. I'm glad we didn't get Kermit the Frog. Can't stand him. Yeah, I get you. But Bob, imagine if we don't get Josh, or, Josh doesn't turn out to be what he is. It doesn't matter. Like, if you like him or not, he's a good quarterback. He's a great quarterback. Let's be real, right? You know what I mean? Like, and you can't pass up on guys like that. Like, I'm not a big Russell Wilson fan, but are you telling me back then that if we had a chance to get Russell Wilson, which we did, I would have gladly taken Russell Wilson at that time, right? Let's see. Belichick was the only one who saw Brady's potential. Maybe. I mean, it also could have been the coordinator at the time too. You know what I mean? And it's funny how life works out. If Drew Bledsoe doesn't get hurt, you don't know. You don't know what's going to happen there. I don't know if Tom Brady gets the opportunity, and you know what I mean? Like, a lot worked out. A lot happened to make that work out and make that possible. So I don't know. It's a fascinating story when it comes to the Tom Brady thing, because I'm telling you, the Patriots never had a plan to start him. That all had to do with Bledsoe getting hurt, and all right, we got to throw the rookie in there, and he never looked back. And credit Tom Brady for that too, but I don't think they ever truly saw that in him, or they would have cut Bledsoe, or made Tom the starting quarterback since day one. So, I just think everything kind of worked itself out to where, Brady, wound up getting that starting job and never looked back. McDermott gone. Bills win the Super Bowl. Book it. Yeah, I'm with you, Ettore. Facts. That's how McJoke got Doug Weirley out. Probably blame that move on him. Yep. Playoffs game. Bills got hosed on a replay. Otherwise, who knows? Yeah, they got hosed for sure. And it was a first down. It was a catch. I mean, there's no other way around it. This is for the Giants. Who says Pats would have stunk in a? Who says Pat would have want to have stunk? I don't know, but he's a really good quarterback, Bob. Like, he is a great quarterback. Like, I've seen enough of Patrick Mahomes to tell you he's a really good quarterback. You know what I mean? Like, I've seen enough of Joe Burrow to tell you Joe Burrow is a very good quarterback. I've seen enough of Lamar to tell you, like, you know what I mean? Like, they are, when Mikey says it best, like, he has tiers, not, he doesn't put, he doesn't like to do the whole top 10 or top 5. Whatever. He puts quarterbacks and players on tiers, and tier 1 for him and for me too is Allen, Jackson, Mahomes, and Burrow. Like, they are that great. They are franchise elite quarterbacks. There's no getting around that. Now, did Mahomes go in a perfect situation for him? Absolutely. I mean, golly, Andy Reid, right? An offensive-minded head coach who's an offensive-minded genius who, understands player strengths and weaknesses, and surrounded Mahomes with really good players too, and built a good team around him, and with a good coaching staff. Like, I mean, Mahomes, he fell into the perfect situation. If Mahomes comes to Buffalo, I don't know. I still think Mahomes is great, but you think about this too. Mahomes got to sit for a year while Alex Smith was the starting quarterback in 2017. So, he got to learn. He got to sit behind Alex Smith and then take notes and get that one-on-one with Andy Reid and just kind of understand what he wants from him. Like, it was perfect setup for Jackson to be successful. So, I don't know if he gets that opportunity in Buffalo. I know he doesn't. The Patriots ran the league until they forced those teams in the NFC East. Something about those teams. Yeah. I mean, but I like Lamar and Joe. Okay, I got you. Yeah, I mean, look, I get what you're saying, but I'm just telling you about the player, the end of what he does on the field. Jackson's special, man. He's a really good player. So I can't discredit what he does.
I remember doing a story on him in training camp and talking with him and thinking, here's a guy I probably won't even have to talk to again after October. And he becomes one of the stars of the team.
Yeah, I mean, and I remember you doing that story. And look, when you look back,
he's also very clutch, career, Bob. You know what I mean? He's come up with some very clutch plays,
I think was Whaley,
in key moments. So
I mean, Jerry Hughes, other than
I can't take that away from him.
Many times on the field, was a monster on that football field for that defense.
Yeah, and then you mentioned Doug Whaley on Monday, May 13th. Buddy Nick steps down as general manager after 3.5 seasons.
Oh, Buddy's gone.
Assistant. He's 73 years
Come on,
old.
Buddy.
There's never a good time personally, but
come on now.
And for the organization, this is
man,
the best
fuck y'all
time
fans. Can't stand Buffalo.
Next week. I was already had a flight and was scheduled to go to St. Pete to start on 2014 draft. And you sit there for 10 hours a day and listen to reports, one right after the other, on 2014 draft choices. And to be honest with you, my energy level is as good as it's ever been, but I wasn't all excited about that trip.
Nick says
man, I'm done with y'all. Y'all terrible. I hate Buffalo.
Camp here at St. John Fisher, just not
I'm out of here.
It's expected 40-year-old Doug Whaley will be moved up to GM.
A couple days later on May 16th,
Buddy Nick's had enough. Man, Buffalo's terrible. What an awful
now
team.
We have a football team.
I think it's an organizational
man.
effort from top to bottom.
Doug Whaley,
if you're committed to accountability and hard work, the sky's the limit.
We're all about accountability as well.
Like shit's just falling apart.
Every person in this organization.
Buffalo, just nothing ever goes right.
January 1st, that we share the fans' frustration and our stakeholders' frustrations over the past 13 years. But you won't hear us talk much about that.
Everybody liked Doug Whaley. I mean, at that time, you know, and even though, when he gets promoted in that press conference, one of the things they talk about is who was responsible for EJ Manuel. And he says, I was an integral part of that. I set the draft board. It was my draft process. I was in on that. And then he pretty much spent the next 4 years of his career trying to distance himself from that pick as much as possible. You look back at Doug Whaley, if he had not started with EJ Manuel, if they had just not taken a quarterback that year, you wonder if the whole image of Whaley going forward,
that's the mistake.
When they moved on to Tyrod Taylor, leaving EJ as the backup was something he pushed for, maybe overly so. It just seemed like
Sammy Watkins trade too.
Yeah, that comes up next for sure. But in terms of this pick, Sammy Watkins at least could play football. Whereas EJ Manuel could not. And if
Bean didn't fire him,
his
but
career had started out with Jerry Hughes,
Pagula did. But
the image of Doug Whaley improved.
I'm sure Bean had some say.
When Whaley
though Pagula said he didn't, but I'm sure they had a private conversation. Pagula and Bean about McDermott.
There were definitely high
but
as you went into the spring, and
it is what it is, man.
You had Whaley recommended by Steelers people. That's where he worked before. You had Marrone highly thought of by Bill Parcells. I mean, the pedigree was
and Sean Payton too.
Exactly. I mean, the pedigree and the recommendations and the quality of those were all there for both these guys.
It's not about me. It's about us, and it's about this organization. And from Russ instilling in the organization that this is a shared common goal to put this organization back to where it's supposed to be, us competing consistently for.
You know what's crazy about this guy, Doug Whaley? I think after we fired him, he didn't even get hired by anyone else. I think he winded up going to like the USFL or something. Hold on, let me pull him up. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. And that's crazy because usually you'll find yourself on another NFL team, maybe not as an NFL GM, but something you'll have a position because you have experience. That's how the NFL works. It's like with coaches, especially in management and scouting, like it's all like a cycle, right? They all find themselves on another team, like usually, unless you're really bad. And look, after the Buffalo Bills, he went to the XFL and UFL. He was hired as senior vice president of the XFL. XFL senior vice president of football operation. 2020, Whaley was laid off. So he was hired in 2018 as senior vice president of football operations for the XFL. On April 10th of 2020, Whaley was laid off. Along with almost every staff member after the league suspended operations for COVID. So not really his fault. 2021, Whaley was rehired as a vice president of player personnel of the XFL. He retained his office as the XFL merged to UFL. In December 2025, with the UFL reorganizing its centralized front office that eliminates team general manager, Whaley was assigned general manager duties for the entire league. And that's it. So I guess he's still at the UFL. It doesn't say he's not. Let's see here. And then it has some stuff here on him. It says Whaley gained unwanted notoriety in 2007 with an inappropriate email that had sent to Steelers assistant coach Larry Zierlein, was identified forward by Zierlein to a large number of high-level NFL employees, including Commissioner Roger Goodell. Zierlein apologized for the gaffe, I don't know what that means, and it's believed that neither he nor Whaley were disciplined by the team or league. So maybe they were making fun of somebody or fun of Roger Goodell. May of 2016 radio interview, Whaley said of football, "It's a violent game that I personally don't think humans are supposed to play." Release of Fred Jackson. Whaley was criticized by fans and players alike for his decision to cut longtime Buffalo Bills running back, fan favorite Fred Jackson, as a business decision prior to the 2015 NFL season, especially after allegedly telling Jackson his roster spot was safe. Jackson later reflected on the move prior to retiring with the Bills after Whaley's dismissal, stating that the manner in which he was cut left a bad taste in his mouth and that he was dumbfounded by it. In 2016, December 2016, Whaley refused to explain his decision to bench the Bills starting quarterback Tyrod Taylor prior to the last regular season. Instead, interim head coach Anthony Lynn was forced to address quick questions from the media, and his unscripted response advised Taylor's benching was a business decision. Whaley did not publicly comment on the decision. So seemed like he was making some poor decisions, but apparently I guess he's still in the UFL. So good for him. He has a UFL gig. Where are they located? Do you know? I don't know. I'm surprised the Bills haven't tried to get the Giants release linebacker. The Bills right now are remain. I think that what they're going to do is they're going to wait. I don't know if the Bills sign anyone real like a key player or one of these key players that are still available in free agency. I don't think the Bills are going to make any moves until teams start cutting players during training camp, right? You're going to start seeing some player cuts, when it comes down to the 53. And that's when the Bills will start waiting to see who gets cut. Maybe a bigger name gets cut and they wind up picking one of those players up. But I just don't see one of these bigger names that's still out there. I don't think the Buffalo Bills are going to make a move, but I could be wrong. I've been wrong in the past. So we'll see. I mean, the Stephon Diggs things is very interesting because the league did come out, I believe it was yesterday or Friday, and said no discipline is going to be handed down for Stephon Diggs. So he's free to play. He's good to go basically for the 2026 season. So we'll see what teams, offer him a contract. I'm guessing wherever Diggs lands is going to be a 1-year deal regardless. I would entertain the idea of Diggs coming back. I think he would help this team. I don't see why Bills Mafia would hate that move, especially if it's a decent contract. But I just don't see it happening for some reason. I just don't see it happening. I'll say this though, if it did, that would tell you everything you need to know about Diggs' relationship with Sean McDermott and his relationship really with Allen and Bean was not the issue. So, I mean, that would tell you a lot. That would pretty much tell you what the deal was. Wasn't the loss of the Chiefs the one where Tool got nailed with balls to the head on the sideline? Sure. Really got the books on. Whaley got the books and the defense right before he left. Yeah, I mean, you know what? Whaley, he had some decent draft picks. I'm not going to lie. Like, some of the draft picks were pretty good under Whaley. I'm not going to totally shit on Doug Whaley, but he wasn't the best either. You know what I mean? Like, if he was really on board with the EJ Manuel draft pick, that was a poor decision because it just wasn't a good quarterback draft class, right? And if you're a good GM, you should know this. You should know that your team's not going anywhere probably that season. That means you're going to probably land in the top 10 of the following year's draft, where it's going to be a better draft class for quarterbacks. You should have either kept Ryan Fitzpatrick one more year, right? Rode with him, right? You're not going anywhere. Let's be real. Right? Ryan Fitzpatrick's going to do exactly what he's been doing. He's going to give you about 6 wins. And if, let's say, you cut Ryan Fitzpatrick because you want to save money, and that was the deal, fine. Then you go with you pick up a quarterback at free agency, right? And you just go with him, right? You win 5-6 games, maybe 4. Maybe you land yourself in the top 5, and then you get yourself a quarterback worth taking, right? You don't reach for a quarterback, like EJ Manuel in a weak quarterback draft class. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like, for instance, this past draft class, like, it was weak. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's why everyone's, a lot of these NFL teams that need quarterbacks didn't take a quarterback this year because they're like, fuck it. Next year is going to be a really good draft class for quarterbacks. Like, so yeah, that, and then of course, when you make that decision, it sets your team back again. Like, and that's what we did, because now you're invested in EJ Manuel. Now you gotta roll with EJ Manuel for at least a couple years, right? To see what you got. Like, and then now, since you're doing that, now you're not drafting a quarterback the following year. So those decisions there will come back and bite you every time. And I always said it, man, you have to have a franchise quarterback, on your team, and build around that player. I don't care how special of your other, spots are on your roster. If you got, an elite, edge, you got an elite receiver, you still have to have that quarterback. And that's really what haunted Buffalo for a long, long time. And Bean and McDermott blew the bag. I don't know about that. If anyone blew the bag, it was stupid Sean McDermott. He didn't tell, he's the one that got rid of Diggs, made us eat at the dead cap. I'm not saying Bean was perfect. Bean made a lot of terrible, terrible mistakes, decision-making and free agency, right? Signing players that just didn't produce, right? Wasted money on Curtis Samuel, wasted money on Palmer, wasted money on Joey Bosa. I'm not going to kill him on the Von Miller signing because that was an injury. And he was actually having a really good year. But at the end of the day, it still wound up being waste of money because he didn't get to produce because he got hurt. So, like, free agency is where a lot of the money has gone down the toilet. Let's be real, right? I know some of the extensions, some people will a little bit complain about some, but if you look now, like, a lot of those guys are not overpaid guys in their position. So the Matt Milano one, that one, if he probably could redo that one, he probably wouldn't extend him. He probably would keep, he probably let him walk. But maybe keep Edmonds instead. But it is what it is. You can't turn back the hands of time. We're in the now, right? You live and learn, right? We moved on from McDermott. We're in a new era now with new vision, a new scheme, right? Players don't feel like they're walking on eggshells anymore. Brandon Beane's now drafting for a new set of coaches that have a new vision, a new type of player they want in the locker room, and a new scheme. And you're seeing that. So be excited for it, man. Be excited for it. All right. This is here. I'm sorry. I think Whaley had has more business background, like a money manager. I mean, that's what they kind of say about Bean. But you know what? Like, once again, go back and Whaley's draft picks. They're not terrible. Like, he's had some good draft picks that came through Buffalo, but he missed on the quarterback. Once you miss on that quarterback, guys, it's tough, man. It's really, really tough. You know, look around the league. I mean, the Miami Dolphins are still, you know what I mean? They're trying everything to replace Dan Marino still, right? Everything. Drafting quarterbacks, trading for quarterbacks, right? Free agency now, like with Malik Willis, like, hey, maybe this guy will work. I mean, Malik Willis, I see the potential, but he's only started like 3 games in his entire career, something like that. Like, he doesn't have a lot of games under his belt. It's still a question mark. So to me, they're still fishing. The Jets are still fishing. Like, there's so many teams that are just desperate. You have to have a quarterback. You have to have a franchise quarterback. This is yes, that is correct. I mean, technically, he's a GM of the XFL, I guess, right? Of the league, right? And he's not even a team. I think he's of the league. So yeah, you're right on that. All right, let's continue.
For championships, I think I buy into it, and that's my philosophy, and I think that's why we will all work well together.
Changing gears a bit with the Bills, the 2013 Bills, but I think it's a major storyline of this year for this franchise. Monday, June 3rd, Jim Kelly announces at his charity golf tournament that he has cancer in his upper jawbone, will undergo surgery later that week.
I remember that.
June 23rd, Kelly reveals at his football camp that he's cancer-free, and then John, a couple days later, you caught up with him at the airport. Just that month for you as someone who has a history with Kelly, what was that like for you?
Well, I mean, everyone has a soft spot for Jim Kelly. Bills fans, it certainly galvanized them. They threw all their support behind him. He got tremendous support, not just from Western New York, but all over the NFL community. And, you know, he's a fighter. Fans loved him as a football player because he was a blue-collar.
My grandfather
fighter,
had to sing cancer.
Fight off the field as a family man with a son, and now with a personal illness. So
but
I think, as far
luckily,
as
you know,
Bills Nation
same
goes,
as Jim Kelly,
it galvanized everybody
got
behind him.
it fixed
It was a
and
very emotional
cancer
time for
free.
people.
My grandpa's like 91 now, 92, still driving.
And,
it's
wild. See
wild.
him emerge from that victorious, as Kelly often did, was certainly a positive. But it got a lot of people upset around here, no question.
And seeing him at the airport, you know, the interview you did with him, maybe kind of take me behind the scenes. How did that come together? How did that all?
Well, he was taking a private
plane
from Rochester down to New York, and
we were so bad.
To get some tests done, and he'd just come through some surgery and thought he was in the clear. And
not yet, Paul. It's a little bit too early for that.
Basically showed us
but
exactly what
in
was going
time
on
they need to
mouth. And it was
start thinking about it. But right now
and at that point,
we're a bit away from that.
Made aware of the severity of what he was going through. But, you know, he thought he was in the clear and things would worsen before they would get better. But, you know, this is before he lost a lot of that weight. And looked a lot different than what we knew him as a football player. But, you know, Kelly is a battler through and through. That's what endears him to everyone in this region. And he fought through it. But at that time, it was a huge story in this area.
Another thing happening to me.
This for a guy who has had one ailment after another of late.
In the last 2 years, I've had major back surgery. I've had double hernia surgery. I just had neck surgery. And then prior to this, you know, being diagnosed with cancer, I had 2 jaw surgeries prior to that, not knowing that's what it was. But, you know, sad, you know, that, oh, no, not something else. And then when you hear the word cancer, it scares you.
Kelly and his family are battle-tested. The challenges of life have made them stronger. That and the support of an entire region.
After I retired, my son's diagnosis and
too early,
how much it hurt me and how much the community rallied around me as a father. And then, of course, the death of my son. It was hard. It's been hard on me for many years, but I'll tell you what, I wouldn't have been able to get through this, number one, without my faith. Number two, with the overwhelming response from fans and from people in general that just seems to really understand and care. And I just, you know, thank them so much because the letters that I've received, the emails, the phone calls, words cannot express how that makes me feel and how our family feels when you have so many people that care.
The Hall of Famer has had time to reflect on his own mortality, but is determined to turn this like everything else, into a positive.
We all have a certain time limit that we're here, that the Lord has blessed us with. And I just hope mine's for many, many more years, because I have so many more things to do. But thing is, just never give up. Like Jimmy V used to say with when he was diagnosed, you just never, ever give up.
Jim Kelly was such a star of my youth, and for so many people in my generation.
Good dude, man, right there.
And yeah, to see him going through something like that, cancer touches everybody in different ways, and whether it be family, friends, what have you. But yeah, to see such a hero in this region go through that fight.
And after what they went through with their child too, with Hunter. I mean, this is a guy who had fought adversity off the field before and got the whole area behind him. And now here they go again with something serious again. But he, like we said, we can look back now and smile. And yep, that's Jim Kelly. He fought through it yet again.
It's not like having it in your arm, your leg, or anything. It's right here. It's very painful. But
Man, that's brutal. Can you imagine?
It's just something else I have to deal with. And in due time, I will kick its butt. I will be all right. And I'll get back to my normal everyday thing, taking care of my 2 daughters and my wife and having fun again.
Moving on to training camp right at the end of July. Doug Marrone is the new head coach of the Buffalo Bills. His first training camp working with professionals as a head coach. And he gets 3 days in before he starts butting heads with the Western New York media, because Mario Williams isn't here. And what's going on? Where's Mario Williams, the guy you spent $100 million on?
The doctors go through an evaluation process, and when they inform me, that's when I know. It's as simple as that. And I get frustrated, honestly, when it gets to a point where I feel like I've tried to explain myself and how I handle the injuries, okay? And I've answered the questions, and you keep coming at me, I'm done. I'm not answering any more questions about Mario Williams until the doctor gives me this.
So he is excused by the team?
Obviously, if we send him to get evaluations, he's excused from the team. That's not a legitimate question.
Yeah, that was the first.
Whoa, Doug getting a little snappy there. Whoa.
Oh, excuse me.
That's the reporter's response.
Oh, excuse me.
Calm down there, Doug. Relax there, pal. Jeez. Oh, never too early, fam. How long? No, I get what you're saying, but Love was only there. Love was drafted and short, like 2 years later, Rodgers is gone. Like Rodgers was already at that age. You know what I mean? Like, I would say, listen, if we're going to be real when we're talking about Josh Allen, he's 30 years old. He's still got at least 4 to 5 years left in his prime, right? I would say maybe 3 years from now is where the Bills maybe want to start entertaining the idea of drafting a quarterback to possibly, replace Josh Allen in the future, meaning sit behind Josh Allen for a couple years, like you said, like Love, but not now. Like, there's no way. Like, you're not going to have a quarterback on your roster that long. You know what I mean? Like, then you're going to have to pay him again and have him sit behind Josh another, 5 play. Like, listen, I would say maybe 3 more seasons and then you entertain the idea. But you're right. Eventually, you do need to start that process of understanding that maybe you're getting close to that area of Josh getting out of his prime. But right now, like, no, that's not even a conversation. I hope everyone's dealing with the pre-summer heat. Okay, I fucking hate the heat, guy. I'm gonna tell you guys right now, and maybe because I'm a fat guy too, but no, that's not true. That's not true, actually, because when I was in South Florida growing up, I was really, really skinny. I know it's hard to believe because I'm really, really fat now. But I was like, when I was young in elementary, I was like the tallest kid. I grew up, I grew tall quick. Like so I think I was like in 5th grade, I was like almost 6 foot. I grew quick. And then in middle school, it kind of slowed down. And I got to about 6'1". Now I'm 6'2". So middle school was 6'1", but I was like 150 pounds. I was super thin, like really thin. And Yeah, dude, I still like the cold. Like, my point is, like, you would think I wouldn't mind, like, the cold would bother me because I was so thin, but I love the cold. I used to blast the AC. I remember my mom got this boyfriend. We moved into his house in Boca, and I got this room, and in the room was like this giant. It was a giant home too in Boca, and I had a king size waterbed, a Cali King actually, walk-in closet, and he had central AC, but he also had like an air conditioner room. I don't know why. Maybe he just felt like he got hot in there. I have no idea, but I used to blast that motherfucker, boy. And man, that shit was so cold you walking, but I loved it. I fucking loved it. So yeah, dude, I've always liked the cold. And then obviously, you know, I gained weight and I love the cold even more because my fat ass sweats all the time. Yeah, Marrone's such a sweetheart, such a good guy. Love sat for like 4 years. They had to give a contract because his rookie contract had ended, if you recall. Oh, Love sat. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. But I just that's not the point. Like, listen, they're not going out and getting they're not going to draft a quarterback next year. They're just not, bro. More than likely, it'll be like, if the earliest, it'll be, maybe 3 seasons from now, right? Which Josh still would have about 2-3 years left in his prime. You know what I mean? Like, then you have him under Josh for a couple years. For me, that is the last thing they're thinking about as a quarterback right now. Like, you know what I mean? To potentially take over Josh Allen. Like, we're a little bit away. So I get your point, but right now it's not even a conversation to be had. All right. Anyways, let's continue to let's see if Doug is nice at all here.
I don't know that Marrone's going to get along well with the media.
And it never stopped all the way through the end of the season.
Always combative.
Yeah. And he never, the whole injury thing became a joke.
He was a
it
dick.
Was something that he would, wouldn't take seriously, at least not with us. He tried to turn it into something funny, and it never worked out for him. And that was definitely day one of that whole.
And he would deflect those questions to his PR guy. I mean,
and
that was an unfair position to put the team spokesman through. The team spokesman is not supposed to handle.
Luckily, I still have hair.
At least not in that setting at the podium.
Though I always wear hats, so it doesn't even matter.
You do it after games too. We'll get into.
I could care less. Even if I went bald, I still wear hats.
And it really
wouldn't really affect me
early in camp for what was to come.
But yeah, I hear you, brother.
That was the beginning of the whole. I'm not going to do injuries. Here's Scott in front of the microphone to do the injury. And no coach had ever done that before until Doug Marrone, literally making his PR guy walk up to the podium.
Wow, that's wild. You heard that?
For the head coach. And of course, the PR guy is not going to have anything substantial.
That's a crazy thing. That's a dick move. You heard about that?
Okay. And it's about
something funny. And
he had a PR guy
that was definitely day one of that whole
go and talk about the injuries, so he didn't have to do it.
Wow.
See, I don't recall that. This is why I love doing this.
To handle that kind of news. At least not in that setting at the podium after a practice or after a game. He would do it after games too. We'll get into that later. But he put his PR people in a bad spot, and it really set a bad tone early.
That's wild. Can you imagine that today?
That was the beginning of the whole. I'm not going to do injuries. Here's Scott in front of the microphone to do the injury. And no coach had ever done that before.
Wow.
Literally making his PR guy walk up to the
podium. Fuck that! I'm not talking. Fuck that! I'm not talking about injuries.
The PR guy's not going to have anything.
Go up there, PR guy.
Upper body, lower body.
Deal with these fucking assholes.
Helpful to no one, us or the fans.
And this was
wow, that's crazy,
really
bro.
Had a lot of things happen in it because just a couple days later, Saturday.
See, guys, you learn something every day.
But I did not witness this.
Or you find out something every day, something new every day.
Why would I have paid attention to this one specific tiny little moment? As transitioning from one field to another, Kevin Kolb slips on a rubber mat at St. John Fisher and tweaks his knee and is done for the rest of practice.
I forgot about that.
I shot that practice at St. John Fisher. And you were like, did you get the video? Did you get the video?
Can you imagine?
You know what? He's walking from one field to another. Why would anybody have shot
How does that happen?
And just thinking like, oh no, here go the Buffalo Bills.
Not that Kevin Kolb is anything special.
Again, Marrone's not telling us anything.
Yeah. That's great,
did
dude.
Kevin Kolb tear his ACL on a rubber mat that had got a little bit of rain on it? I just remember thinking.
I remember that phone call.
What bad luck for that guy.
I don't know what is happening to the Buffalo Bills as Kevin Kolb injures himself walking.
Injuries are a part of training camp.
Good Lord.
The goal is to do everything possible to limit those injuries.
Watch those
to
mats.
Minor scrapes and bumps if you can. Nobody ever thinks about a rubber mat taking out a quarterback, but it happened today. Very few people saw it, but quarterback Kevin Cobb slipped.
Watch those mats.
On these mats in between
No,
practice fields. He grabbed his left knee and did not return to practice.
Get rid of those mats now.
Day to day.
Riddle me that. And then at the
Oh,
same
my
time, as this was
God.
going on, the
I
PGA
hope we don't have
Championship
those
going
mats
on at
there
a
still.
hill just on the other side of town.
Yeah.
And
Just a little
Oh,
thing going
my
across,
God.
Yeah, I know,
across
right?
the street.
And I just remember that week of just insanity. Just
Those
working,
goddamn rubber mats.
7 a.m. till midnight, 1 a.m. A thrilling week, a fun
Oh,
week,
Lord.
but an exhausting week as well.
Second time we had done that. You know, and I think
Yeah,
that we did.
First for me, second for you guys.
Yeah, we had done a lot less Bills coverage
In
this time
03.
around.
Yeah.
In 13 than
Right.
in 03.
Right.
03, we kind of still went over to camp and did a little bit. And I think
All I remember is 03, Mickelson went over there, right?
Yeah.
And Bledsoe, wasn't Bledsoe, I'm trying to, I can't even keep my head on
but
straight
no,
with this.
Mickelson was there a couple. David
Mickelson
Toms
went over there.
too, yeah.
I thought we stabbed the 13 one a little bit better because I think Prescott was there. Didn't you begin your mornings there?
I did a couple mornings there.
I can't remember the
because
specifics.
Marrone would have 8 a.m. practices, so you could go cover practice, get whatever the big storyline of the day is, then whistle on over to Oak Hill and be there for the rest of the afternoon.
And for those not familiar, I mean, the PGA Championship final major of the season was literally half a mile across the street from where Bills were holding camp. So we had monumental things going on in our backyard. And for us, being a CBS affiliate, the PGA was on our air. The priority that week, and you'll never hear me say this, the priority that week was the PGA Championship over the Bills. It's the only week out of a decade when that'll happen, but it did happen. But you were there covering that stuff, and I was stressed out about both issues, mainly golf.
We were pretty fortunate though that none of the stupid stuff happened that week. I mean, the Kevin Cobb mat and the Mario and all all the other dumb Marrone stuff. Even the
Mario actually has a good season.
No.
A really good season this year and the following. I'm pretty sure.
That morning.
Let me see here.
No, actually, you're right. There were 2 incidents in morning practice.
I think it's his best season with us. Let me look.
One of them happened during the PGA Championship where it was like 94. And
He has
like
he has 13 sacks this year, and then next year
and I'd never seen
he has
that
14 and a half. So
NFL athletes.
this is where Mario Williams starts to pick it up here.
Like human specimens, and here they are on the sidelines throwing up like at 8 a.m. And it's just like I'd never seen that before. But you're right. There is a later in camp. Marrone gets into it with the whole team, doesn't like the effort that they're giving in, so he makes some laps, and then Jerry Hughes yells back at him, and that leads to a whole shouting.
Oh, Jerry's getting in a fight with Doug.
Just obscenities, every other word from both sides. But yeah, that
Can
was.
you imagine the players are
during training camp? But the last day of the PGA Championship on August
Doug's
11th
such a
was the Bills'
dick.
first preseason game, and I remember, Jason Duffner wins the PGA Championship. All everything that had gone into that week culminates with that, him lifting the Wanamaker Trophy, and the Bills have their first preseason game, and EJ Manuel and the Bills carve up the Indianapolis Colts, and thinking, oh, this is different. Of course, it's a preseason game. I'm like, how stupid could you possibly be to buy into a preseason game? But yeah, they thumped the Colts 44-20. 44 points, the most the Bills have ever scored in a preseason game.
I think it was one of the few preseason games I never actually
Look at us,
I watched it once.
We did highlights of it.
44 points in the preseason.
Highlights for you guys for 11. And
Which is worse, injuring yourself on a mat or injuring yourself celebrating? I don't know, crazy climber. I don't know. That's a great question, man. The mat's pretty bad. I mean, how do you hurt yourself? Walking to practice on a goddamn mat that's laying there, rubber mat. That's wild, bro.
And there's nothing like he looked in training camp either. At practice at Fisher, he did not look good. He did not look ready to go.
Get rid of those rubber mats, by the way. I hope they're not still there.
But even in this training camp,
damn rubber mats.
Manuel's not performing to any kind of level where, wow.
Ruining players' careers.
And then Friday, August 16th, their second preseason game, which you covered. I remember you shot that one against Minnesota. EJ Manuel gets hurt in that game and is done for the preseason.
Oh,
so
EJ.
The glory of EJ Manuel lasts all 5 days because now he's got this injury concern that lingers over the rest of the season.
It was a scramble. I remember the play pretty.
Oh, here's where EJ gets hurt.
Away from me.
Yep, to the Vikings sideline.
And it was, if I remember correctly, it was
EJ. Oh, no.
So it was again controversial. Doug, what are you doing with your rookie quarterback? Why is he running? Why is he hurt now? And it was just another poor decision, poor game management, poor camp management from new coach Marrone.
And then in the third preseason game of 2013 against the Washington professional football team, Kevin Kolb suffers a severe concussion, his third severe concussion at end of his career.
Kevin!
So
come on!
Kevin Kolb, we hardly need.
Man.
Yeah, so EJ
Kevin
Manuel
could have
is
catch a
definitely the guy.
break.
There's no doubt about it. They have they traded for Thad Lewis. They undrafted guy named Jeff Toole. It's EJ or nobody.
In 14 seasons of covering the Bills,
Poor
I
Kevin
have never
Kolb.
seen a single practice that contained as much news as
Guys
we
like,
got from the
I
Bills
can't catch
today.
a break. I'm
First,
done.
The biggest surprise. It seems like a very real possibility that Jeff Toole, an undrafted rookie, could be the Bills' starting quarterback week 1 against the Patriots.
Right now we're planning on, Jeff Toole playing, the first game.
Jeff Toole.
And we're working with EJ to get back
See what happens with Jeff
as quickly as possible. The good part about it is, yesterday he worked out on the field. He's working back there, so he's actually starting to move around now. And then it's just a matter of how he heals and he repairs them. And when he comes back,
you already know the season's going to be shit.
Blessing, and thank God
There he
for
is.
the opportunity.
Get him, Jeff Toole.
And it'll be a lot of fun to line up from a childhood idol, like Tom Brady.
The Bills needed bodies at quarterback, so they traded with Detroit for
We're in a
Thad
lot of
Lewis
trouble,
and
folks.
signed Matt Leinart, the former 2006 first-round pick.
I still got a lot of football left in
Get
me.
him, Matt!
And this business, as you guys all know, is as crazy as it can be.
We are
especially
now.
the quarterback
We
position.
are
You just never know
desperate
what
as
can
hell
happen.
right at this point.
So my main focus
Come on,
was
Matt!
just to keep my head down and keep working and keep chipping away and hopefully, hope for an opportunity.
The other injury news today, even worse. Corner Stephon Gilmore out 6 to 8 weeks with a wrist fracture.
Every defense wishes they had, Stephon.
The season's off to a wonderful start here.
Some of the things we
2013.
do, it puts a little more stress on them.
Goodness gracious.
I don't know what our plan will be going forward. Obviously, get him healthy as soon as we can.
And Jarvis Bird, he is mad about the franchise tag. And I just remember, one guy
Bird's
being brought up to the
upset.
podium after another of wow, the Bills season has imploded and we haven't even hit week 1 yet. It's amazing. Then to just add that little cherry on top, the Bills bring in Matt Leinart for one preseason.
Matt
This is what people
Leinart,
ever talk about
watch
preseason.
out.
Well, 2016 was pretty good too. But,
Matt Chatter, how you
Matt
doing, brother,
Leinart goes
man?
3 for 10 in the
Appreciate you
preseason game.
rocking with me today,
And
man.
I shot that preseason game. He's walking off the field talking to Reggie Bush, and he looks to him and he just goes, "I'm done."
Yeah.
And you just go wow. Matt Leinart, one of the greatest college football quarterbacks ever, talking to his former teammate from USC and Reggie Bush, and it's yeah, I'm done. I'm done. I can't do this anymore.
Oh, man. It's crazy.
Matt Leinart, I'm fucking done.
Sure enough, the next day, he gets released by the Bills, and that was it. And
Man. Matt Leinart, man, I'm fucking done, dude. This fucking terrible team. I'm fucking terrible. I can't even fucking get a starting gig. Not even on the goddamn Buffalo Bills. I'm fucking done. I'm retired. Oh my God. Reggie Bush. I thought he wasn't Reggie? I could swear he was for a second, right? Wasn't he? Man, that's a great question. I want to say yes. Let me see here. But I don't think he was any good or he got hurt. Let me see here. There was something to it, but I believe he was. Yes, he was. So, but I don't think he did anything with us, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see here. Let's see your game log. Let me see here. Reggie Bush. I want to say he was for 1 year. He was. So he played. He was on the team. He had no game started. He had -3 rushing yards. So yes, he was on our team real quick. And it didn't quite work out. So yes, that's what I was thinking. Damn, I'm pretty sure, but did he do anything? And the answer is no. Let me see what I'm very curious what it says now on when he came to Buffalo, because he played for quite a few teams at that point. So Bush signed with Bills for a 1-year deal. He joined a backfield dominated by McCoy. This was in 2016. And Mike Gillislee. Bush rushed for his first touchdown, only rushing touchdown of the season against the loss against the Dolphins. Bush finished the season with 7 catches for 90 yards, 12 carries for -3, and a rushing touchdown, making him the first player in NFL history, other than quarterbacks, to carry the ball at least 10 times and have negative yardage for a season. And then he retired the very following year. Yeah, that didn't go down. That didn't work out too good for Reggie Bush. Buffalo. The only NFL player with at least 10 carries in a season with negative yards. Jesus. Ah, boy. Like, of course it happened in Buffalo, right?
Because I doubt Reggie
Of course it did.
The team. I think I'm the only guy out there that covered Matt Leinert's last game, Vince Young's last game.
Matt Leiner, I'm fucking
the
done.
Previous season, and Reggie Bush's last game.
Wow.
I don't know that anyone else can say that. I can say that. So there we go. But yeah. And then something happens in training camp that I remember when this happened, and this was so bizarre. CJ Spiller, his step-grandfather, kills 2 people, shoots 2 more people, then kills himself.
What?
And CJ Spiller,
Whoa.
you think of him as like a pretty mild-mannered guy, you don't know these guys all that well. You obviously don't know their.
Wow. Like, I got to be honest with you. I don't remember this. Do you recall this, guys? Like, I do not remember that at all. Let me go back here. Whoa. And then I'm going to have to pull it up and see what happened there. I'll pull it up on Google. But holy shit, I don't recall this at all. And I know my Buffalo Bills very well.
And then something happens in training camp that I remember when this happened, and this was so bizarre. CJ Spiller, his step-grandfather, kills 2 people, shoots 2 more people, then kills himself. And CJ Spiller, you think of him as like a pretty mild-mannered guy.
That is wild.
You don't know these guys all that well. You obviously don't know their families. And then just like that whole story was something that was just on top of everything else that had gone on during this offseason was really strange.
That is fucking crazy. I gotta look that up. Now I have to look that up because whoa. Wow, hold on. His step-grandfather? Let me see here. All right, let's take a look. Yeah, look, it's right here. NBC Sports, everybody covered it. CBS. It says CJ Spiller's step-grandfather kills himself after shooting spree. Says authorities in Florida say Hubert Allen Jr., the step-grandfather of Bills running back CJ Spiller, shot 4 co-workers, killing 2 of them before committing suicide. Spiller played. Let's see here. I didn't know what the situation. I didn't know what the situation did occur prior to us playing. Marrone said, I didn't know anything about any facts or anything like that. I still became aware of the facts that there are media reports out there, but I have no idea what exactly is true and what's going on. As far as I know, he knew that there was something that happened personally, but we really didn't have any information prior to the game. I was aware of the various media reports right after the game, but no one knows all the facts, so I'm not going to comment at this time. Police say Allen, who was 72, killed his longtime boss, 80-year-old Marvin Pritchett, killed former coworker Rolando Gonzalez, who was 28. Golly, that's wild. That's crazy, bro. That is step grandpa. Yeah, how does that work? I have no idea, man. I have no idea. I guess his wife's, I don't know, his wife's dad's dad. I don't know how the hell that works. That's a great question. But apparently it's true. It's a step grandfather. I wonder if he even, let me see here, if he talks about this. if there's any video. You know what? Let's see, guys. Let's see. Very curious now. No, there's no video on it, but let's see if there's any news report. I probably could, but I don't want to sit here and waste your guys' time. But wow, that is interesting. I had no idea about that.
You know, it was a relative, but it wasn't a direct relative, and it was obviously a grisly story. You know, it was for us who cover sports. You know, that they call it
damn, dude,
TV and broadcasting and news.
That's
wild. It wasn't the type of thing that we cover a lot, and to really you felt like you had to talk to CJ about it, but no one wanted to. Yeah. So it was something you tried to tiptoe around, and it was just very uncomfortable.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, how do you even start your conversation with that?
Hits
that is
in the higher part of the newscast. Talking about something non-football related, and like you said, it was just a grisly, bizarre thing that we're not used to discussing on the air like that. But it was just another thing.
You kind of got to, I guess, if you're media.
All this was going on.
I'll be sitting here lying if I say I'm gonna put it behind me. You know, it's still early. There's still some emotions there. But, you know, for the most part, once I touch the field, my main focus is on football, you know, and that's how my whole family wanted it. You know, that's how my mom wanted me to do. She told me when I came back to make sure that my focus is on getting ready for New England.
I told him, you know, when I talked to him, you know, he's not just a teammate. He's like a little brother to me. So I did everything I could, you know, to try and help him get through, you know, the tragedy that he was going through. And it means a lot, you know, and I'm glad to have him back here. You know, hopefully we can get his spirits back up.
And then right at the start of...
You know what it could be now that I'm thinking about step grandpa? It could be his mom remarried, right? Remarried, and then it was her current husband's grandpa, something like that. You know what I'm saying? That's probably what it was. So it was his stepfather's grandpa, which would make him his step grandpa. You know what I'm saying? So that's probably what it was.
The season, Tuesday, September 3rd, after the Bills had released Ryan Lindell on Cutdown Day.
Ryan Lindell.
After Mike Hopkins or Dustin Hopkins,
yeah.
Whatever.
Matt Chatter. Yep.
So, Dan Carpenter, that's a name we'll be talking about for the next few
years.
years.
Think about the Bills spent a draft pick on a kicker with the intention to make him the starter, the kicker. Teams don't usually do that. And then the guy blows out his groin a week and a half before the season starts. That was that preseason for the Bills. Nothing went right.
The Buffalo Bills, boy, we have had some fucking shitty-ass luck, boy.
September 8th, the New England Patriots come to Ralph Wilson Stadium 10 years after 31-0 with Sam Adams on the cover of Sports Illustrated. And it looks like EJ Manuel might lead the Bills to a victory
Get him,
against
EJ!
the Patriots. Bills led 21-17 going into the fourth quarter, but the Bills never got out of their own territory. They never ran out of the ball in the fourth quarter, and Brady's on the other sideline. So, leads him down the field. Gostkowski, go-ahead field goal with 5 seconds left. The Bills fall in the season opener, 23-21. Tom Brady now 21.
Hey, we were in it. We were in it. We were in that game, though.
For week one against New England.
Showing some type of promise.
He didn't throw 8,000 yards, but he threw
150.
Right. He didn't look terrible. There wasn't an interception. There wasn't a terrible negative play. So the most of the talk about that game was, hey, you know, EJ wasn't too bad. Good first step. There was encouragement. I mean, losing to New England is like a rite of passage in Buffalo. So it wasn't a big deal. But the fact they lost close and the quarterback didn't fall on his face was a good thing.
Yeah, I think the vibe was they hung with these guys, the mighty Patriots. It was a good sign. I don't think anyone expected them to beat New England on that day.
I have nothing but contempt for these Bills teams.
To pull that thing out. So I think there was a good feeling in the region about this team.
And the defense is playing a lot better as well. Brady hit 7 times. You just feel like, okay, the Mike
just wild times, man.
Look a bit different than what we saw under Chan Gailey and everyone else.
It's the next game, though.
And
of
course,
everybody fired up.
And the next few games, too, because Mario Williams in week 2 plays out of his mind, sacks Cam Newton 4.5 times. Kiko Alonso has a sack, an interception, 9 tackles. EJ Manuel throws for 296 yards and has a game-winning touchdown to Stevie Johnson with 6 seconds to go.
I remember that,
Bills
by the way.
Come back and beat the Panthers 24-23.
That game-winning touchdown
versus Manuel.
Yeah.
Real bad now, but a real outlier now.
That might be the first time that game was billed that way, I think, ever. Going all the way back to 2013. But no, the defense, this is where the defense, everyone really started to believe in it. And what Mike Pettin was doing and what this D-line could do. Jerry Hughes wasn't quite there yet, but Mario was doing his thing. Marcel and Kyle Williams. I mean, these guys look like world beaters.
It's just different, the whole team and the mentality, especially mine. I don't think I've felt that way in the last 5 years. So that's great.
Get him, Mario!
I feel like I'm at peace, just as a person.
We can do good things. We've got some good players.
Yeah, Kyle Williams.
To give people trouble. And, I think as far as, we're on the tip of the iceberg here. Hopefully we're only going to get better and better the more time that we go.
And then now look, EJ had a game-winning drive, but it was the worst game-winning drive in the history of game-winning drives.
You were there. You shot it.
It was a dump off and a dump off. He hit Fred Jackson and CJ Spiller led the team in receptions on the drive, and even the touchdown. And this is when the first couple of years I started really watching Bills film and doing the all-22 thing. The touchdown play is like your run-of-the-mill. Defense comes with an all-out blitz, and one of the things quarterbacks will often do is I'm just going to throw it over them and hope to catch a long pass deep down the sideline. I'll let a good receiver go one-on-one. There's no real thought involved. It's just throw it deep, and that's what EJ did on the play. Now, look, was it the right call? Yeah, probably. And was the pass in a good spot where Stevie Johnson could catch it? Sure. But this wasn't like staring down a blitz and reading between safeties and zing. This was bailing out and just heaving and hoping. It worked. So you combine it with the dump-offs, and he had a huge pass interference penalty, negated interception, and, the way the drive ended. For people were like, wow, EJ can play. And I kept on looking at that drive. I'm like, there's nothing good here. There's nothing about this drive that makes me think EJ Manuel is going to be a good quarterback.
Excellent sound effect by
There's nothing worse crazy climber than being somewhere you don't want to be.
They won the AFC championship.
Right? That you didn't want to be there to begin with. You got forced to go somewhere.
And you came up with them.
And you're stuck. I get it. I get it.
Right? News about the drive, but a W is a W.
For sure.
They're 1-1. They almost beat New England the week before. Hey, we might be onto something here.
We hand someone the ball. We expect them to be able to do things like that. I know
typical Buffalo in this time.
All the time.
We always had some type of hope at one point early on, and
I think that if I lowered those expectations, then we probably wouldn't be sitting here right now.
I think I started crying there. I'm not usually an emotional guy, but like I said, I'm going to enjoy those type of things because that's what I'll be able to tell my grandkids about that.
We always had good running backs. Absolutely.
It's definitely
Buffalo knew how to draft running backs.
Was locked in,
they still do.
Saying, I need
think
you,
about it.
I need you.
We still got good running back,
like,
right? James Cook is a damn good running back.
That he is, and he drove us down there.
Week 3, the Bills go on the road for the first time in 2013. They go down to the Meadowlands against the Jets. The Jets commit 20 penalties for 168 yards, but Justin Rogers is starting for the Bills in their secondary because of injuries to Stephon Gilmore and the like, and he gets burned. He gets
multiple
roasted.
Times, yes.
Stephen Hill has a 51-yard touchdown. Santonio Holmes has a 69-yard touchdown, all on Justin Rogers.
Thrown by Geno Smith, by the way.
Thrown by Geno Smith, who threw for 331 yards.
Yeah, Stevie was a beast.
As the Jets win 27-20. And I remember,
of course, we lose to the Jets right after we win.
About that afterward. This guy does not belong in this spot. And he's undersized. He's just getting roasted by better, and I wouldn't even say Stephen Hill is nothing special, but he took him to school.
Yes. I remember being in the press conference, the post-game press conference.
Yeah,
with Doug Marrone.
Matt Chatter, exactly.
Well, they committed 20 penalties.
Yeah.
I think the Bills.
Remember what we had, please.
In that game too. So Marrone is there talking about all the good.
Allen's elite, bro. I get he's not.
All these things.
He's going to have some mistakes time to time, but
he just lost this game, and it was 27.
The dude is. Thank God we have him. How about that?
Dominated the game.
We were gonna, a big part of the offense is trying to get big plays, and it's just not making enough plays. They made more than us. I got to make more plays.
Everyone's going after, our secondary, and we just have to.
Doug Marrone is such a dick.
Form coverage.
He talks like an asshole.
And do that to try to keep the quarterback. Thinking
he's not a pleasant person.
When pressure, block them all up, and they went one-on-one. It's just the point of we didn't make those plays.
When you don't want to.
You can just tell he's an asshole. Players probably hated him, dude.
As fast as you can, move on, and get it out of your memory.
The era of unbridled optimism lasted 1 week. But then it comes back again. The following week, week 4, September 29th, against the Baltimore Ravens, as Joe Flacco picked off 5 times.
Woo!
Twice by Kiko Alonso.
Give me that ball, Flacco.
EJ Manuel, 10 of 22 for 167 yards.
We'll take that dub.
Touchdown, 2 interceptions, and a fumble.
Yeah.
Jackson and Spiller combined for 164 yards. The Bills win 23-20 as the defense looks incredible minus the guys in the secondary.
And this was, we probably should have brought this up back in the Carolina game, but this was when the hashtag, the legend of Kiko Alonso was
yes,
born, which was one of the more fun trends that lasted about 10 weeks. But this was when it was, man, after that Baltimore game, the legend of Kiko Alonso was,
I was a Kiko fan. Not gonna lie.
He was a weird guy to talk to because
he was in a wrong era though of football.
He was smart, but he wasn't very.
He would have been perfect for like 80s, 90s,
but there just wasn't a whole
where the
lot
rules,
out of him.
they weren't so crazy.
Want to go every game and
like this dude played a little bit different. Very physical runner, very physical player.
We have to make plays and fight for 4 quarters. That's how every game's going to be.
Yeah, I remember. I don't remember exactly what day this happened, but I remember this moment when Doug Marrone was asked about Kiko Alonso and just how incredibly he's playing. He's named Defensive Rookie of the Month.
He loved to hit quarterbacks that were sliding.
And Marrone says that he was in the hot tub with Kiko Alonso.
Bro, they're still looking. So are the Jets.
Finances. Yes. And he's just like, this is a very,
Boy, Kiko sees our quarterback running and sliding.
Has a lot of thoughts about a lot of things.
Boy, there goes your head.
He
did it to Josh, remember?
So,
when he was with Miami.
This was after
he didn't give a
fuck.
fuck.
Wednesday, and I remember they opened up the locker room. We all swarmed to Kiko Alonso's locker, and like, so what was the hot tub like with Doug Marrone? Like that was like the level of discourse that you had with Kiko because, to your point, if you asked him about, hey, what
but he wasn't a bad player. He really wasn't.
Their offense, like he wouldn't tell you anything. So. All right, well, we got to come at it from a different angle to try and get something out of it.
And because there was the legend of Kiko Alonso, when that story came out, we all felt like we had to go talk to him about it because this was something that was pertinent to the legend, which we never got any stories about.
Yeah. Week 5, the Bills go on the road for a Thursday night affair in Cleveland against the Browns. John, you and I were there for this one, and this one was an entertaining game, though, not for all the right reasons. Brian Hoyer tears his ACL on a hit from Kiko Alonso 4 minutes into the game. Bills trailed 17-10 at halftime. C.J. Spiller rips off a 54-yard
Get him,
touchdown
CJ.
right at me. It was awesome. And then EJ Manuel sprains his left knee because he doesn't get out of bounds. And then
of course,
in comes Jeff Toole.
EJ gets hurt.
A 44-yard pick six. TJ Watt. As
Toole,
the
come
Browns
on.
beat the Bills. It's not 6-3, but 37-24 still doesn't look good.
Yeah, that was a late night, and we remember well because we had to get all
Yeah,
the sound.
our offense
EJ,
wasn't
we
that
had to
great.
get all the sound regarding Toole to our affiliate out west and so
Yeah,
forth.
we did.
And
We
were there
did.
till- I think we were at the stadium till like 2 a.m. or something.
It was a late
crazy.
night for sure.
But it was an entertaining game. I certainly remember your touchdown with CJ because the first thing I always ask when I go down to the field when these guys were shooting the games are, tell me you got the shot. I know where you guys are on every play. I'd have a happy.
Oh, there goes EJ's fucking ankle.
Right at you. It was a thing of beauty.
Yeah.
But that was, again, here goes EJ, frail EJ Manuel, and the injury occurs.
He's trying to score a touchdown. What do you say? Don't scramble. Don't want.
Yeah, it happens. Football's a brutal sport.
Go out of bounds. I'm sure he's working his way to the sideline.
Yeah, it's tough, and
Boy, he's such a fucking asshole. Doug Marrone is just really pissy.
You tell me what it is, and we'd give anything to find out. But yeah, our injury situation isn't great, but with 10 days rest, hopefully we can get some guys back.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's uncommon. That's just adversity. You're going to face adversity, and we don't face adversity early on in this season, and I think it's going to really make it even more sweeter in the end. But it just next guy just step up and try to make a play.
So the Bills are now without EJ Manuel moving forward. Week 6, Thad Lewis is in for EJ.
Oh, absolutely crazy. Absolutely.
The Bills apart as the Bengals led 24-10 going into the fourth. Dalton throws for 337 yards, but Thad Lewis, Thad God, leads an incredible fourth quarter comeback, a 22-yard touchdown to Scott Chandler, then a 40-yard bomb to Marquise Goodwin with a minute and 8
Get
seconds
it, Thad
left.
Lewis.
Thad, as the preeminent Thad in our sports office, just your thoughts as Thad Lewis leads the Bills in this incredible comeback to tie it and then bring the game into overtime.
I think I was the president of the.
Don't matter. We lose anyways.
No one was more excited to see that than I was. Although I thought, I remember being on the sideline for that game and thinking Cincinnati was just giving the Bills opportunity after opportunity to stay in the game. There were 2 or 3 spots where a field goal would have put it away. And
I think Josh does because of his. He's a bigger body than Lamar.
Backup quarterback.
But I think Lamar maybe doesn't because of his body type. But I could be wrong. But I think they would be fine. I just don't know how long Lamar,
and like he said,
we're
thrilled that a guy named
how long his career lasts because of that.
The touchdown to good one was really nice.
Oh, yeah, it was great. Yeah, it was a great ball.
Perfect placement. Mike Nugent kicks a 43-yarder. In overtime to win, Bengals win 27.
Have you tried not being
7
terrible?
Bills go to Miami. The
right, Matt Chatter.
Yep. Pick 6. Aaron Williams with a pick deep in Bills territory. Mario Williams has a huge sack on Ryan Tannehill. Bills trailed 21-17 going into the fourth. The script writes itself once again as Lewis, Spiller, Jackson, and Tashard Choice have big plays in the fourth quarter. Dan Carpenter bangs in a game-winning field goal.
Woo, Dan Carpenter, baby.
Left. The Bills are 3-4, and they're not
former Dolphins kicker, by the way.
Like
he was a good kicker for us.
10 Bills, when Stevie Johnson emerges in that first year with Chan Gailey and thinking like, okay, they're not good, but they're entertaining. And after the last year of Chan, I'll take that.
The defense was fun enough by itself.
Exactly.
By this point, people are starting to really, really buy into the defense. Not only as, wow, it might be good too. We can hang our hat on this. This is something that we know the Bills are going to do every week. They're going to terrorize opposing quarterbacks. That game entirely turns on Ryan Tannehill throwing a pass from midfield or attempting to throw a pass in a spot where the Dolphins probably should have just been running the ball out. And not only did it go bad on Miami, but the Bills made them pay for that choice.
Yeah.
I think fans were excited about the fact that if you leave your quarterback open for even this much, our D-line is going to run him down and kill him.
Yeah.
Or force a turnover, and which I think both happened in this case.
And Carpenter goes home to South Florida, where he spent a few years and got a little bit of a revenge at the end.
So the good feelings for the Bills defense, they don't last very long because week 8, the Bills go to New Orleans, probably the greatest city in the United States. And Drew Brees carves them to pieces for 5 touchdowns and 332 yards.
Lovely.
Thad Lewis injures his ribs during that game.
Thad, another quarterback goes down.
In this one, down in no loss, the Saints win 35-17.
Another one.
File that we used when Rob eventually came to Buffalo. I shot him up and down the field pregame, made sure we had
hard
a
to
lot of
miss.
Yeah, exactly. It was easy to shoot and fun to get. But that whole game was New Orleans being New Orleans. I mean, they just Drew Brees hitting deep balls, throwing passes all over the place, scoring 35 points. I walked away from that game thinking, I got my money's worth. I went to New Orleans, had a good time.
You know what's crazy too, guys?
The
time where Miami could have finally found their quarterback, post Dan Marino, right? Was right there. Was right fucking there. Drew Brees. He signed the contract, or he was about to sign the contract, and the team doctor of the Miami Dolphins said, nope, he's not. It's not going to work. What was it? I think he had like a knee injury or something with his knee. He was coming back from an injury from the Chargers at the time, or was it his arm? Something. He had some injury going on that he was recovering from, and the Miami Dolphins doctor said, "Nah, he's not going to last," and he's done. And the Dolphins decided to not go with Drew Brees. The Saints picked Drew Brees up, and the rest is history. So the Dolphins had their opportunity right there with Drew Brees, and they let him go, which is wild. So, yeah, man, shit like that will cost your team.
My memories of New Orleans have nothing to do with the game, but with my buddy Thad. And it was Halloween weekend, too.
Right.
There's nothing like Bourbon Street, Halloween weekend. We're up on the balcony. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, we had a great time. Many beads were garnered that day.
Was that his nickname? I don't recall that. Oh, Jesus.
Week 9, Jeff Toole is now the starting quarterback.
Come on, Jeff Toole.
Ribs, and EJ Manuel has an injured knee.
Make it happen, Toole.
Kansas City Chiefs. And Jeff Toole has a 59-yard touchdown pass to Marquise Goodwin in the first quarter. Bills up 10-3 at halftime and have the ball to start the second half. Toole marches them down the field. They get inside the red zone, inside the 5. I believe they're at the 1-yard line.
At the 1, yeah.
And Jeff Toole and I make eye contact as he goes to throw this football. And then in comes Sean Smith, takes it, and he just gets smaller and smaller in my camera. A 100-yard pick six of Jeff Toole.
No, Jeff, what happened?
Possibly 17-3 to 10-10.
Wow.
Yep, that's Jeff Toole. That was the Jeff Toole experience in one play.
Imagine at the one.
I mean,
come on, Jeff. What was going on there?
The first big play with CJ, put a drive together.
Run the damn ball.
And then,
just literally just a complete.
No, Jeff, no!
It's a huge momentum.
The bad pass, Jeff.
Just something that I could have prevented from happening.
And remember, the Chiefs were undefeated that game.
They were 8-0.
Oh, man.
Jeff Nobody is leading the Bills at home. I mean, not only.
Oh, were you there, Matt Chatter? Oh, my God.
And then on one play it flips, and the Chiefs pretty much owned the game from there. And that was so Billsy.
Yeah. I said bad words. I bet you did.
Go back to the start of training camp to game 8 of the season. All these games that happened in the season, that if you just looked at the record, would have been totally
that's miserable.
And, you know, the different little twists and turns, every single one of them, for the most part, are as Billsy as it gets, except for maybe Mario Williams sacking Tannehill to force the fumble and lead the game with a field goal. It is nuts to think about the amount of stuff in the first 3 months of the Doug Marrone era.
And that's 8 weeks in, right? That's 8 games.
This is
in.
week 9. Yeah,
week 9. So, you know, this is. I think after this, you know, you're clearly deflated as a fan base. Like you said, the Chiefs were 8-0. You've got these guys kind of where you got them early on, where you want them, and then Toole does the unthinkable, and the rest was history there.
It was, it was one of those moments where, you know, you hear the crowd.
I mean, who knows?
Oh, somebody's.
I mean, that's just
like you realize he has daylight.
Probably just a terrible play call too. Like,
and and then it wasn't
run
even
the damn
end
ball
of
there.
The pain.
You're at the 1
scale as TJ Graham fumbles at the 11. Tom Holly picks it up and turns it for a touchdown. Yeah. Chiefs go to 9-0. They win 23-13. So week 10, EJ Manuel returns after 5 weeks. The Bills go to Pittsburgh. And Manuel doesn't look particularly good.
Don't worry, another L.
5 yards, a touchdown, sacked 3 times. Steelers win 23-10.
Total Steelers.
Oh,
game.
We're so bad.
The game 2 weeks before, just the Steelers coming out and throttling you. Antonio Brown made one really cool play. They scored a couple of touchdowns, kicked field goals off turnovers. It was exactly what you'd expect from that game.
Yeah, so the Bills dropped to 3-7, and we know what they are. They're not a playoff team. They're not a very good team. They have
bad pass, Jeff.
And there are parts that you say, okay,
come on, Jeff.
But yeah, year 1 of the Doug Marrone era, you know that this team is looking to 2014 and beyond. Week 11, the Bills host the New York Jets. Bills have a 20-0 second quarter.
Woo!
Manuel to Graham for a 34-yard score. Manuel to Goodwin for a 43-yard touchdown in the third. Jarris Bird picks off Geno Smith twice. Denora Cersei has a pick 6. Thad, as a Jets fan,
Geno Smith, who's back.
The Bills
and New Jersey.
The Jets were coming off a bye that game and just did not show up. And they were Rex Ryan at that point.
Look at the Bills kicking ass. The final game of the season.
They were generally pretty
at home, giving the fans a treat there
one of my favorite plays
for the offseason.
But from the EJ
with the dub, picking up the
TJ
dub.
Graham touchdown. The winds were crazy that day. So the TJ Graham touchdown, Manuel lofts it up. And there were 2 Bills receivers and 3 Jets defenders in the area. And I remember following the ball in the air, and it gets to here, and then it just stops. It comes down. And what had happened is a wind gust had knocked it down right to where Graham was standing. So he's like, okay, caught it and just walked into the end zone. It was like the worst 50-yard touchdown pass you've ever seen thrown in the history of football. But everyone came out of that like, wow, look at that play EJ made. You know, he scored 2 touchdowns, and we won by 23 at home against the division rival. Woo! I mean, it was that, you know, and I quickly got into the habit of picking apart good EJ things because it wasn't hard to do. This was just another example.
And Thad, you mentioned Rex.
I was just thinking, I can't think of anyone else that would make this garbage watchable. You bust out laughing is great therapy.
Dave and Buster's. It's amazing how Dave and
Buster's. It is what it is, man. This is good stuff to go back and
and the Bills
relive. You know what I mean? Like, I have no problem with it. It's funny.
He just did not know.
And look, the CJ Spiller thing, right?
So the Bills going to the bye week at 4.
I didn't even know about
Sunday,
that.
November 24th.
So it's interesting.
A name that will be a big part of the 2014 episode, as Jason Lockenfora of CBS reports that John Bon Jovi wants to buy the Bills along with the Rogers Communication Group and Maple Leaf.
Y'all remember this?
In Toronto. And this is coming with the Toronto game the following week for the Buffalo Bills. And I just remember thinking, Bon Jovi.
Bon Jovi wanted to buy the Bills.
In a year where, with so many insane things, Bon Jovi owning the team might be the craziest if this were to actually happen.
The thing that I thought was craziest is what happened after that, where Buffalo disowned Bon Jovi, any Bon Jovi produced piece of music for the next.
Thank God that did not happen, because we would not be in Buffalo, folks.
It was, you know, John Bon Jovi was enemy number 1, you know, but it didn't seem very logical. And coming from Jason Lockenfora, he almost became enemy number 2 coming out of this too, because because he reported it.
Yeah.
The only reason there was a little glimmer to this was because Bon Jovi did have a little bit of a history with Belichick, with New England. So we knew he would hang around the NFL scene a little bit, not a whole lot, but we'd seen pictures of him with
saw him on the
Kraft
sideline once at a
and
Jets
with
game.
Belichick. But
And Philadelphia too. He owned the AFL team down there with.
very good point. So I mean, it was outlandish, yes, but the thought of it sickened people in this area, and he was vilified and still is to this day.
It sure
we
is.
fucking
And then,
hate John
a couple
Bon
days later,
Jovi.
On December 1st in Toronto, 38,969 people at the Rogers Center, the lowest of the Toronto series.
Oh,
It was
no.
a pretty entertaining game, but nobody was there to watch it.
Nobody
And
cares.
to the border for
Who gives a
what
fuck?
now becomes the final game of the Toronto series.
This was
Oh,
the game the Bills found every way to blow late.
Sure did.
Stevie, let's see, if I remember correctly, they have the ball and the lead. They
Can
fumble.
Thad remember? I
Yes.
have it right here.
Let's see. So it just matter who it. Stevie
There's
Johnson.
no question whether Thad can recall this with pinpoint accuracy.
It's
That's
only
not
four,
a
it's only 4 years ago, not 14 years ago.
Stevie Johnson had the overtime. No, he had the regulation fumble. That led
Of course,
to
we
the field
lose.
goal, and then it was Chandler
last
fumbled in
game.
overtime that led. Yeah, I mean, this was. You looked at this by this point of the
Fucking
year, you're like,
suck.
oh, so the Bills donated a game away by fumbling the ball twice. Oh, okay. Let's I know exactly where that story is. Hang on, let me
Us
pull that up.
Toronto
I'll just bring
fans,
it.
man.
Twice in about a minute. Too,
We gave them
just
such
considering the time.
garbage.
Yeah. Stevie fumbles with 20 seconds left at the Atlanta.
Here's the
So
Buffalo
Falcons
Bills,
proceed to go to
Toronto.
Overtime.
Enjoy
Bills
it.
Get the ball to start overtime. Scott Chandler fumbles on the second play of overtime,
Oh,
and then a few
man.
plays later, Matt Bryant kicks in a game-winning.
And the Falcons were pretty good that year too.
Falcons were good, yeah.
So I mean, you had them and you had the Chiefs on the ropes, and
and the Patriots in Week 1.
Exactly, within the last 2 games within a month of each other, and obviously 3 teams in the same the first 3 months of the season to not be able to finish it off. This team's going to finish 6-10. You walk away from it thinking if they could have found 2 or 3 plays, they might have been
Stevie's like, man, I gotta get the hell out.
Ran across the field, and guy came from behind and ripped it up. So yeah, I was just running with the ball.
What happened?
After the game, sealed with that. And,
No,
made a play, hell of a play.
It was a great throw by EJ out in front.
He didn't see him.
Right as I put the ball away, I didn't.
Oh, no.
Underneath it enough, and the guy hit it right on the ball and just knocked it loose.
Come on.
If you're a veteran or a rookie, you catch the ball and you tug it. He made a play, and that's what it is. That's what we got to charge it to. It ain't like we had the ball loose or outside of our body. They made a good play, and got to commend them on it.
Really disappointing. Obviously you want to be able
What
to
do you
protect
mean,
the ball in that
we
situation.
gave him garbage. Let's be
You wanna
real.
make a play that helps
We
you
won
win,
one game, bro, in
not
Toronto
really
series.
Really turns the tide
We
to
pretty much
make
gave him
moves.
trash.
When the big
That was
spot,
garbage.
this and that, blah blah blah. You feel me? We had opportunity with Carolina at the end, and we made it. So
No,
Stevie. There's always something bad going to happen.
We want to bring this town, this region, the playoffs, and to know that that kind of slipped away on that play it's tough, but that's part of what we do. We we're putting ourselves out there. You want to be, if you want to be a guy who's making plays for your team, then you're going to have to deal with the disappointment when you don't make the play.
We're a good team, and period.
Yeah,
no matter
well.
how this game went, we're a good team, and we know
We didn't
are,
quite give them good football. How about that?
take more time.
Entertaining.
This game had a stench.
A team to cheer
through,
for.
not just
And when
because
every
there were a
time we
lot of
play there,
Atlanta
we
fans there
lose.
taking that little 3-4 day getaway to get
Yeah.
Toronto and enjoy a nice weekend away, but because of the whole Bon Jovi thing and some of these
That was
Toronto
just
tabloids really playing that up.
Bad
It just
series.
really
We
rubbed
should have
those
never
fans the wrong
did
way.
that.
And I remember
I think
after
Ralph
that game,
Wilson was so
we were
desperate
locked in on the whole Bills ownership
to,
thing at that point, and the
you
thought
know,
of going to Toronto was still
make
lingering
something
all
like
over the
make
place. It just
you
was,
know,
and it was a horrific
put some kind of eyes on the
Rogers
Buffalo
Center is
Bills
not an NFL
by
venue.
doing the Toronto
It
series,
should never
where
be an NFL
you
venue.
know
And
he tried to
when
put
it
some
happened
kind of
like that,
excitement
or a
into
third
Buffalo.
whatever it was, it just the whole thing stunk.
And even had
Winning is excitement, not going to Toronto.
I thought he was the Seattle game. Wasn't this the Beach Boys?
Yeah, I know.
Oh, it was Beach
That's
Boys.
right.
Yeah, okay.
That's right.
So,
Oh my
go.
God,
Yeah,
the
that was
tickets
the
had to have
most
been
part of the
cheap
game.
too
Wow,
at the
some
time.
real
They
trivia
were probably
from us. We
begging
know the
people to go.
halftime shows of the Toronto
And they have
series.
good pudding in the Rogers Center press box. 'Cause I used to always take a picture of 4 of the cups in front of me as I was watching the
I remember
debacle that was unfolding.
One of
on
the few
field.
halftimes I made sure to get out, because normally halftime for us when you're on the field working the game, you got to go in, hit the bathroom, get something to drink, get hydrated back up. And for the Beach Boys, I'm like, this is the Beach Boys. I probably should go out and see it, and
So you can
Say
say
I
you
was
saw
there.
Mike
Exactly.
Love and Brian
Right,
Williams.
right.
Brian Wilson, excuse me.
Dang,
So,
we
yeah,
actually
way
beat
past
the
the end of their
Dolphins
prime.
twice
Yeah.
this season, huh?
Now 50 years later. So, but in the aftermath of a game seen by 39,000 people, Russ Brandon says the Toronto series needs to be reevaluated. And they had recently signed a 5-year extension, which would have carried the Toronto series through the 2017 season. So imagine.
Oh, good Lord.
Those games now.
We got to reevaluate that
I
Toronto
think
series.
To me, that's kind of where
that may not work
2015
out
ends.
after all.
4 games left after this one. They get their doors blown off.
Oh,
in Tampa.
my God.
I know you were down there for that one. They win in Jacksonville. I don't remember that game at all.
Beach
Along
Boys.
With the win over Miami. And then I do remember the week 17
Well, what do you
loss
mean?
in
What's
England.
wrong with the
Not
Beach
because the score was
Boys?
34-20 or that Thad
Come
Lewis
on,
was
they're
the
cool and hip,
quarterback,
aren't
because
they?
it rained the entire game, like 38-degree rain, and I just remember being on the field miserable. Like,
sopping wet.
A 6-10 football team getting blown out by the Patriots on not even New Year's Eve, on the 29th.
Because you can't ignore the fact either that was, as we alluded to earlier, that was the EJ Manuel injury game where, he missed the game before and Doug Marrone said 100% he's going to play the last game.
Oh, that's
and then
right.
he doesn't play the last game and gets taken to task for it. And that becomes a thing between the Buffalo News and Marrone. Another, that was the end of Marrone can't deal with the media. And this was the final straw about, you said that Manuel was going to play and then Manuel didn't play. And I remember thinking, I don't care, if things change. I mean, medical statuses change, but the way Marrone presented it as he is going to play, and I am right about this.
Yep.
And then, of course, he didn't play because
And then he doesn't play.
Why would he?
Exactly. If the game had been
Fucking Marrone.
and he could have.
Come on, Doug.
Coach, and I think he's going to play 10 days before, and he gets this much worse in between. I'm going to sit him for sure, and it's a smart thing to do.
Yeah.
But because Marrone had no idea how to deal with it in front of a microphone, he looked terrible.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that press conference where he said, 100%. EJ Manuel is going to start, and then no, really,
And then he doesn't start.
And because it's now 2013 and social media is pretty much what it is at this point. We're there covering these press conferences and tweeting out these quotes, and people are like, "Has he lost his damn mind?"
Yeah.
And so you're seeing the responses while Marrone's talking, and so you take the feedback from fans and go like, Doug, the people, what are you talking about? Everyone's mad at you right now. And so, yeah, it was, one of those moments where instantaneously, not only the media present, is questioning Marrone's decision, but people just following on Twitter and social media, they're screaming what is he doing? Mm-hmm. And yeah, I think that was probably, those types of moments were my lasting memories of 2013 is Doug Marrone saying things and putting himself in position where you're not going to get who are you supporting by this? Because your quarterback's I don't know why I'm playing, and
I don't even know why
him. Marrone
oh my God!
in over his head in these types of moments.
And there's nothing worse than ending the season in Foxborough because inevitably it's going to be a loss, and you've got the long drive home back to Western New York to just contemplate what you had just covered the prior 16 Sundays or weeks of football. And it usually is the same story over and over. We certainly have been through a few of those rides, and I know we were as well. And, any kind of enthusiasm we felt with Marrone when Whaley became GM and the synergy that was there with this young group, this core was gone now. Pretty much gone.
Yeah. I was going to say
just another Bills season without a postseason.
I was going to say just your lasting thoughts, your final thoughts on 2013 and 6-10 all over again.
We love winning 6-7 games. That was
the defense is really good.
That was it in the drought years. We loved it. 6-7 wins,
the
boy.
Defense is good and the offense can't play, or vice versa. It seemed like we did that for the next 3 or 4 years. But the two most important parts of that team, the head coach and the quarterback, neither one of them seemed anything close to functional. Yeah. And it was hard to figure out whether they were going to go forward with that.
Year one under Doug Marrone was not necessarily about making the playoffs, but certainly taking a large step towards them. So how far did the Bills go?
Not as far as we wanted to, but I definitely think there's things going in the right direction. When people are willing to do whatever it takes and put in the work, we can be a really good football team. But in the same sense, we showed how bad we can be when we kind of take things for granted.
My final thought was, man, I was lucky to experience those Bills Super Bowl teams because this sucks.
See, Tommy, we were cool before the Zoom.
It really truly did.
6-7, that's
None
right.
Of those two guys, Marrone or Manuel, gave you
we started it here in Buffalo with 6-7 wins each season.
Bills offense, Spiller is
it all came from the Buffalo Bills.
He has his limits. Fred Jackson's looks like, he's probably getting toward the end of his career, a very serviceable running back in his time. And Stevie Johnson has only like 570 yards receiving this season. And you go like, well, the receiving core doesn't look great. The running backs are good, but have faults. The quarterback is clearly limited. The tight end position.
The Uncle Rico experiment starts next year.
And see the guy from Western New York that's becoming a Hall of Fame.
Kyle Orton, that's right. Those
are my memories of 2023. Just
who I didn't hate, by the way. Mikey hates Kyle Orton. I don't know why. I thought Kyle Orton was okay.
The number one thing people wanted going to next year.
I mean, he had 3,000 yards that year. Not terrible.
There are a lot of great players in the 2014 draft class playing at wide receiver. Who will the Bills select? To that, we turn to the 2014 episode of Down and Drought.
All right, so there goes another episode of the Down and Drought. There I am. There's another episode of Down and Drought. We have 3 episodes left. So 2014, 2015, 2016. Yes, Uncle Orton is coming to play for the Buffalo Bills, and he didn't do a bad job. I don't get why Mikey hates him. I'm not saying the guy would have did anything moving forward. As you guys know, and many of you know, Orton winded up retiring. They planned on bringing him back, and he's like, I'm good. I'm done with football. And he retired. He was done. He just he gave it one more year. And that was the best we got out of Uncle Orton in 2014, which we'll talk about next week. Shout out, Orton. You gave us the best Jets win ever. Absolutely, man. So, guys, I will be here tomorrow. Be back tomorrow with Mikey at 10 p.m. Monday Night Uncensored. And we'll get into current Buffalo Bills. And, so 10 p.m., join us tomorrow, me and Mikey. And then I will be back on Friday, just me, Friday Night Lights at 8 p.m. And then obviously Sunday, we have episode 15 of the 2014 Buffalo Bills Down and Drought series. So I appreciate you guys rocking with me today. Sandra, thank you, Tommy, for your time. Last day in rants. Hey, anytime, Sandra. I appreciate you rocking with me for about 2 hours now, 2.5 hours almost. So Mad Chatter, Crazy Climber, Bob, everybody that who else am I missing? If I miss you, I'm sorry, but man, y'all rock with me today. I appreciate that. And hopefully you guys continue to rock with me. So Bills Mafia, I love you. And as always, go Bills. I'm out of here. Peace.
Just let your soul go. Just let it shine through. Just let your soul, baby, feel it.